ló wá gbọ́ mọ̀ ẹ́ sí gbàgede gbowó sùn láìsí bẹ̀rẹ̀ wọ́n ní kò ní bẹ̀rẹ̀ máa kó bẹ̀rẹ̀ lọ ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ bẹ́ẹ̀ sì bá bímọ méjì nígbò mọ̀ rẹ̀ àbíkọ́ bọ́ kó sí amúkan yòókù bọ́ sọ̀yà a ó mú ya rẹ̀ tí ó lọ́rọ̀ gbọ́ a ó fi ìṣẹ́rú wálé kó lè máa jẹ́ òkútu pa nígbò mọ̀ rẹ̀ májà sọ́lá ọmọ wàrà mo jẹ́ ọmọ onílé ọ̀la wàrà mo jẹ́ ọmọ onílé ọ̀la wàrà mo jẹ́ ló máa wọ àjèjì wòyí wọ́n ṣe ségesège wọ́n láwọn onígbọ̀mí kó símú àwọn onígbò sọ̀yàwó ẹsẹ̀ ojú kò fírí gbogbo wọn bomi kó símú wọ́n sì bó sọ̀yàwó ẹsẹ̀ ìgbò mọ̀rẹ́ ọmọ abẹ́rẹ́ mẹ́ta ìgbò ọgọ́jẹ́ ọgọ́tẹ̀ ọgọ́ tó kù ní gbogbo aráyé fi ránṣọ ẹ̀rí ìyànjẹ nígbò fẹ́ ìgbò mọ̀rẹ́ òkò kákó ní mọ́ra adáradẹnujà mẹ́ka wọn dààmú ìgbò àfẹ̀yìn kí abútọ́jọ́ òbí rẹ ní tẹ́ntẹ́ ní ìgbò October 10 lọ́jọ́ tí màmá rẹ̀ wá sílé ayé ọmọ Adéyẹmọ ọlá bàbá ló mọ́mọ́ yan ẹ̀mí àbàtà ní mọ́lòóyò wọ́n fèyí rántí bàbá rẹ̀ àtàtà ọmọ Adéyẹmọ ọlá karahun ní gbíjẹ májàsọlá bá mi kí wọ́n ní mo dá kẹ́kẹ́ ilé ẹnìkan ò lè mọ̀ tán kó jẹ́ alájú ilé bàbá ta ló fẹ́ mọ̀lẹ́ ẹni jẹ ní lọ October 10 la fi rántí ọjọ́ bí ẹni yẹn ọjọ́ tó ń lọ kò yẹ nìkan Ìdùmarè kó ṣe é jùlọ èmi ní sàárà fún gbogbo àgbàjọ pẹ́ láyé Ìgbòho Sunday mo kí ẹ kú ayọ̀ ọmọdé ẹ mọ Ìgbòho Sunday ọjọ́ bí ẹ lò ní màmá ni ọba mi kí Ìgbòho Sunday wàá ṣe púpọ̀ ẹ̀ láyé òṣòro kọ̀ṣọ̀ wá kí ẹ Ìgbòho Sunday pé ó kú ayọ̀ Ìgbòho Sunday ọjọ́ bí ẹ lè ní mo wí wàá ṣe púpọ̀ ẹ̀ láyé agbára dé.
The weather is getting very cold, so so we have to start dressing very warm, very very warm.
Ọlọ́run ni mo sọ fún yẹn o gbogbo nǹkan tó lọ fún bàbá mi láyé kò bàbá mi ò tí ì yọ̀ǹda mẹ́sàn-án fún mi ń bẹ̀ ó kọ̀ mí ju ti bàbá mi lọ. Gbogbo àti bọ́lá mo lọ sí bàbá mi ojúmọ̀ ní mọ́kàn mọ́ dàkọ̀ mi nbẹ̀ kan àyẹ̀dà kẹ́ sọ́n dáadáa tàbí kẹ́ sọ́n burúkú ẹ̀ sàṣọ kan omi lọ́lọ́run fún bí n bá sì kú ẹ̀ lè gbà sí mi sí. Ọlọ́run ni mo sọ fún yẹn o gbogbo nǹkan tó lọ fún bàbá mi láyé kò bàbá mi ò tí ì yọ̀ǹda mẹ́sàn-án fún mi ń bẹ̀ ó kọ̀ mí ju ti bàbá mi lọ. Gbogbo àti bọ́lá mo lọ sí bàbá mi ojúmọ̀ ní mọ́kàn mọ́ dàkọ̀ mi nbẹ̀ kan àyẹ̀dà kẹ́ sọ́n dáadáa tàbí kẹ́ sọ́n burúkú ẹ̀ sàṣọ kan omi lọ́lọ́run fún bí n bá sì kú ẹ̀ lè gbà sí mi sí. Ọlọ́run ni mo sọ fún yẹn o gbogbo nǹkan tó lọ fún bàbá mi láyé kò bàbá mi ò tí ì yọ̀ǹda mẹ́sàn-án fún mi ń bẹ̀ ó kọ̀ mí ju ti bàbá mi lọ. Gbogbo àti bọ́lá mo lọ sí bàbá mi ojúmọ̀ ní mọ́kàn mọ́ dàkọ̀ mi nbẹ̀ kan àyẹ̀dà kẹ́ sọ́n dáadáa tàbí kẹ́ sọ́n burúkú ẹ̀ sàṣọ kan omi lọ́lọ́run fún bí n bá sì kú ẹ̀ lè gbà sí mi sí. Ọlọ́run ni mo sọ fún yẹn o gbogbo nǹkan tó lọ fún bàbá mi láyé kò bàbá mi ò tí ì yọ̀ǹda mẹ́sàn-án fún mi ń bẹ̀ ó kọ̀ mí ju ti bàbá mi lọ. Gbogbo àti bọ́lá mo lọ sí bàbá mi ojúmọ̀ ní mọ́kàn mọ́ dàkọ̀ mi nbẹ̀ kan àyẹ̀dà kẹ́ sọ́n dáadáa tàbí kẹ́ sọ́n burúkú ẹ̀ sàṣọ kan omi lọ́lọ́run fún bí n bá sì kú ẹ̀ lè gbà sí mi sí.
Okay, gbogbo alẹ́ nǹkan sí pé welcome back again once again as we prepare for the transmission. The weather is getting cold, so that's the way we are dressing like this. So we dress very very warm. In 24 abi, the weather is beautiful, and we say thank you so much. Eshegoni, entertain darapọ̀ mọ́ wa. I will give up. Mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ ọmọlúwàbí apparel àwọn ló fi lè ránṣẹ́ sí wa. àwọn ló ní pé ká máa look fine. Ẹ jẹ́ agbọ́n tí Tinubu sọ ní bíbá.
The cost of fuel has gone up. Food and other prices have followed it.
Okay.
Households and businesses struggling. Things seem anxious and uncertain. I understand the hardship you face. I wish there were other ways, but there's not.
There's no other way. Moki sister, me, my beautiful sister, Meet the Royal. Thank you so much for joining us as well. Èmi oníṣẹ́ méjì, èmi ní bàbá Yorùbá, Bọ́lá Tinubu lẹ́gbọ́n wọ̀nyẹn. As I'm preparing for the afternoon program, I say good afternoon and welcome to every one of you that have joined us once again. My name is Olami Koiki. Many of you call me KOIKIMEDIA, the last man standing for Yoruba Nation. Moki gbogbo ẹ̀yin olólùfẹ́ wa. My message goes all the time to Nigerians, regardless of your views on Yoruba Nation, African Parrot TV. Mo ṣe shout out to you. I saw a couple of things that I'm going to talk about. Hopefully we'll have enough time. Laptop will function lotiti, so I'm managing this one until I get the other one sorted out properly. So we cannot do, you know, a broadcast where I do the way I would love to show you things, and so we got to manage what we have. But I'm sure some of you that are following us must have seen some of those videos on Twitter, on Instagram. Mokiba Bawa Sulaiman, Mr. Majid Ibrahim, shout out to you. Yawa Falashade Johnson, shout out to all the Nigerians back home. I know the situation is very, very there. It's very, very difficult. The economy is biting. So the first video that I received came from Oshogbo this morning. A very, very sad situation. Etin jerayin lese abi. Etin gori ara yin. Mo de ma para yin dada kó tó di pa wa débi tá ń lọ. There's no doubt about it in my mind. I cannot show the video. Please do not ask me to show it. If not, I'm going to curse you. But over every video yẹn lọ sórí Twitter. Twitter, she accommodates certain things we can post, but YouTube and Instagram, well, Facebook, no, loni Instagram, loni WhatsApp, in case you don't know. Moki abi, moki mama to bí mi lọ́mọ dáadáa, moki baba Kitoye, moki Gowosha, moki baba wa Chief Banji Ayiloge, moki gbogbo ẹ̀yin ọmọ Yorùbá, moki àwọn ọmọ Igbo, moki Hausa. Mo kí Ṣẹ̀kírì, mo kí gbogbo ọbaládé, mo kò lè ṣí fìlà ni torí òtútù mú àwa ní London. So but mo kí àwọn ọbaládé, mo kí ìyàwó mi, mo kí àwọn ọmọ mi, mo kí Great Britain tí mo wà nínú ẹ̀ láti 25 years. Èmi ò rí bí tí a ti náà wá owó nílùú yìí, wà wá lọ gé orí èèyàn. Mo sẹ́ndẹ̀ sí Ìgbòho ṣá. Ó tara. Ó ní coordinator bí olélè tuntun ṣẹlẹ̀, mo ní ìlú Òṣogbo náà ní ìdàbà mi. Ìlú Òṣogbo ni. I'm sure some of you have seen the videos if you are following me on my handles. But if you want to see the video, ó wà lórí Twitter. I cannot show you. Mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ àwọn tó wà ní ìlú Òṣogbo. The security is becoming very alarming. And many of you probably do not understand why we are saying that. Koto dipa ma kúrò nínú Nigeria. We expect the government. I'm just doing some adjustments. We expect the government to do what is needed to protect lives and property. That is the job of any government around the world. You know, the responsibility of any government is to make sure that there's security and protection. But the video I received from Oshogbo, orí ẹni yẹn kò sí níbẹ̀ mọ́, wọ́n ti yọrí, màá ṣe description ẹ̀ fún yín, so that ẹ lè ní understanding the image. Is a very gruesome image. Ọlọ́kadà lọ́pẹ́ ni náà. This happened yesterday in Oshogbo. Oshogbo is in Osun State, in case you don't know, for those of you that are non-Nigerians and you're watching me from different African countries. Arákùnrin náà, mo kí Àrólé 1010, èmi àti wọ́n ṣe sọ̀rọ̀ tán láìpẹ́ ni mo kí gbogbo àwọn medias mo kí gbogbo yín lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí so so Akeredolu is not in Ondo State ó lágbára o so Akeredolu is living in Ibadan so ó operate a state from Ibadan all these bomb bastard governors bẹ́ẹ̀ni they all bomb bastard tó bá sick kó resign now kí ló fẹ́ parẹ́ sórí ìjọba fún resign and let the deputy take over but irọ́ they won't do that ó wà ní Ìbàdàn a máa sọ̀rọ̀ lé lórí Sanwó-Olú was in Ibadan Oyèbánjí was in Ibadan all your governors we don't know whether they are planning something but if I have any information I'll tell you so let's stick to the current situation in Òṣogbo ẹni tí ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ sí tí wọ́n sẹ́ndẹ̀ sí mi láti Òṣogbo orí ẹ̀ kò sí níbẹ̀ mọ́ wọ́n ti orí tẹ̀ ń rí orí èèyàn ọmọ Yorùbá wọ́n ti yọ orí ẹ̀ kò ń ṣàwọn ọmọ Ìgbò ló yọ it is the Yoruba ritualist ẹ̀yin ritualist ẹ pọ̀ nílé ẹ ń wá owó òjijì so you have all become ritualist nìyí èmi ò mọ bí tíyàn ti ń sọ pé ó dìgbà tẹ́ bá gé orí èèyàn lè máa lówó lọ́wọ́ gbogbo àwọn tèmi rí tó ń lọ tó ń bọ̀ nísìn èmi rò pé òyìnbó máa ń gé orí èèyàn kíyàn tó lówó lọ́wọ́ it is only in that bomb bastard country tẹ́ ń pè Nigeria so many of you do not know what is happening in Yorubaland today wọ́n gé orí yẹn nígbà tó gé orí yẹn tán kò yẹ yín nísìn wọ́n tún wá ṣe kí ni wọ́n yọ heart ó dà pé wọ́n ní the heart yẹn wọ́n ti yọ heart ẹni yẹn wọ́n tẹ̀ tí wọ́n fi sílẹ̀ níbẹ̀ wọ́n gé ọwọ́ ẹni yẹn wọ́n náà tún wá gé side ibì kan ní ọ̀pá ibi ìtàn ẹsẹ̀ wọ́n sọ di màlúù. This is happening in Yoruba land, in Yoruba territory. But because some of you cannot be bothered, so at the end of the day, this happen every day. So we move on. While that is going on, many of us need to understand that if we do not allow Nigeria to dissolve, the crisis that we are still looking up now, is just the beginning of what is more to happen within the next 8 years or 4 years of this government. This government has nothing to offer, just like Buhari was unable to offer anything, dead or alive. We don't know whether that is the real Buhari or not. But what I can tell you is that we will be here to remind you all the time, all these problems. And somebody like me, I'm documenting it so that it can be used at the appropriate time. Yeah, Akeredolu bomb bastard is running on those states from Ibadan. I don't understand how that is working, but I'm going to come back to him later. He's not feeling very well. He's a sick man. So he could resign. But they're not going to resign. Akalamago TV, shout out to you. Moki, about media as well. KOIKIMEDIA. Don't ask me to pray for Nigeria. That is scripture. This is going to be my second program today. I did one at about 2 o'clock in the morning. While some of you were sleeping, I was still live running a program. Most of you, I am the last man standing when it comes to the movement. Because I know that many of you, we need to educate you. We need to bring you to the standard of why we want to come out of Nigeria. And when I talk, I'm not directing my message to you, but I direct my message to all the bomb bastard politicians that have held our life to bondage. Let me show you this. This is in Ibadan. Part of why we say English town, is a crime scene. I received this video. I'm going to play anthem in just about a few minutes. This video was sent to me. No, don't delete. How do I go back? This video was sent to me from, again, some of our listeners. I've managed to... Hold on. I'm sure some of you have come across the video. I mean, so in case you don't see it properly, don't say Koiki, I don't Mori. Tell about Serial sorry platforms me over Nibe, and you can watch it properly. Couple of things I want to talk about this video. I'm not worried about the dilapidated Awolowo mama shekpe fún gbogbo àwọn olórí burúkú àwọn bomb bastard àwọn Yoruba politicians. Awolowo mama fi èpè ràn wọ́n lọ́wọ́ because Awolowo gave them a better education, free education during the regional government. How much does it cost? I mean, to put a school, I mean, classroom, how much does it cost? It doesn't cost much. Ekonoke, we have everything, you know. Ekonpako, egberufule lori, efichia sibe, káwọn ọmọ jókòó kó lọ sí school. That has become very difficult for all these bomb bastard governors. Láti Lagos State, títí dé Kwara, they are all bomb bastard. Even Mosobe. So, but what I'm more concerned about this video that I'm gonna play now is one béèrè lọ́wọ́ ọmọ GSS 3 kò gbọ́ pàápàá kò gbọ́ English. Ṣé mọ̀ pé the same problem now I not go through when we were in secondary school. I went to Abeokuta Grammar School when things were still better, not as it is right now. Ẹ má bínú fi my monitor. Mo kí gbogbo alẹ́ nǹkan sí. The weather is very cold, but mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ àwọn Yorùbá apparel. Wọ́n ní èmi ni bàbá Yorùbá nation. Mo dẹ̀ gbọ́dọ̀ máa jáde kí máa look very good. So wọ́n send aṣọ tó pọ̀ sí mi, mo dẹ̀ ní kò tí tó. Ẹ túbọ̀ bá mi send púpọ̀ sí. Mo kí ẹ gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń darapọ̀. TJ bàbá mo kí ẹ. So wọ́n dẹ̀ ti promise mi pé Mr. Koiki ẹ má worry. À ń ṣiṣẹ́ lé lórí. Kí ni size mi? Mo ti fún wọn ní size mi. Mo kí Ọlákúnlé. Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin ìyá wa tẹ́ wà lórí ètò. Mo dẹ̀ kí ẹ̀yin ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n dáadáa. Ọmọlúàbí ni mí. But tí bá ń bú àwọn lórí burúkú politician yẹn, ẹ má correct mi torí pé if not máa fún yín náà lè pè. Because wọ́n ti bayé jẹ́, wọ́n ti balẹ̀ jẹ́ gan. Some of you don't know how painful it is. So video tí mo fẹ́ fi ṣe àpèjúwe ọ̀rọ̀ ṣe sùúrù. I'm sure some of you must have seen the video on my platform. You must have seen it anyway. This is a classroom of GSS 3. I remember when I was in GSS 3, at least Abeokuta Grammar School, I mean, 2 floor ni ìsàlẹ̀ làwa wà. Àwọn kan wà lókè. Ó dà pé àwọn science student ló wà lókè. Àwa tá wà ní no, kò tẹ̀ tí àti ìgbà tí mo dé SS1 la ṣe ń lọ sí science. So mo mọ̀ ṣáà mọ̀ pé 2 floor ni. I don't know what it looks like right now. You know, I haven't been following the Axoba because I left the platform about 3 years ago because my views and their views were not the same. So I left my own student association. I still talk to some of them, but not every one of them because some of them then thought, bia mo níṣẹ́, wọ́n rò pé mo níṣẹ́, wọ́n pé yàn wà London kò níṣẹ́. So we didn't agree, and that is life. So I left the platform, but I still talk to the president and some few of them. After I left secondary school, you would think that things would have been better. Oh yeah, king come out progressing in Kakabe, own worst the cine. So what they want us to be doing is, hey, school you down. Àwọn olórí burúkú governor yẹn wá rán yàn lọ síbẹ̀ wá ní kó lọ kan pákó. Ṣó àwa ló yẹ ká ṣe máa sọ fún yín pé school kan ò dáa. Tẹ́ bá mọ̀ pé ẹ lè manage resources tẹ́ bá mọ̀ pé ẹ wà capable. Tẹ́ bá mọ̀ ẹni tó bá need ẹ máa lọ sórí website wọn wọ́n tà ní kò ṣọ̀fẹ́ o èmi nìkan lọ fún lọ́fẹ̀ẹ́. So it's not free. US ni wọ́n wà wọ́n fẹ́ máa fi promote Yorùbá language and Yorùbá whatever. Òun lọ ṣe bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí create oríṣiríṣi àwọn aṣọ yìí. So about to story omoluabiapparel.com. You can order it anywhere in the world, they will deliver it to you. I'm not getting any discount on it apart from pé wọ́n fẹ́ mi láṣọ tí mò ń wọ̀. So anything tó bá dẹ̀ jẹ́ kan Yorùbá, I'll promote it. I don't promote any business in Nigeria because mo lè authenticate ẹ̀, mo lè vet ẹ̀. Wọ́n ra lé, wọ́n talẹ̀, kò sí tó kàn mí. Àwọn tó wà ní ilé lè máa polówó fún wọn. Ọláyọmí Koiki, I'm not gonna do that because mo lè máa polówó fún yàn kan tó di pé problem máa dé and mo bá ṣe fẹ́ sort ẹ̀. But tó bá jẹ́ UK, àtẹ̀sí lè manage ẹ̀. Because ẹni tó bá ṣe mess, máa lọ report fún police station. Business yẹn á san fine. But in Nigeria, I cannot promote any business because mo lè authenticate business tẹ́ ń ṣe ní Nigeria. Kò ṣe vet. Even if the business is genuine, it's because of the system. It's not because of you. So some of you that want me to promote your business in Nigeria, I can't. Because I cannot verify those businesses. ìlú yìí tí bá fẹ́ verify business mo mọ tí máa ṣe mo dẹ̀ dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ àwọn tó ń convert video mi sí audio whoever is doing that Ọlọ́run àtúbọ̀ wà pẹ̀lú yín because that is the only way we can get this message out quickly. Ó ń ṣe gbogbo èèyàn ló ní access láti gbọ́ mi báyìí, especially when we are doing 3 hours program, 4 hours program. So I come across, I came across one of my videos I did yesterday. Wọ́n bá mi convert, somebody must be recording. So whoever is doing that, iṣẹ́ tẹ̀yin náà lè máa ṣe nìyẹn. Lẹ́ẹ̀kọ̀ọ̀kan tá a bá ń sọ̀rọ̀, ẹ mú fóònù yẹn fi máa ṣe recording. Ẹ lè send ẹ̀ sáwọn tó wà nílé pé mo ní bomb bastard làwọn politician wọn. A ní kẹ́ má dìbò ẹ lọ dìbò àbí? Ẹ ṣe bẹ̀rẹ̀ ni. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe máa gé orí ara yín, ẹ máa gé gbáàyà, ẹ máa gé ọwọ́, ẹ máa yọ ọkàn. Nílẹ̀ Yorùbá, àwọn ọmọ Ìgbò kan ló ń ṣe o, so don't come and tell me àwọn ọmọ Ìgbò, ẹ̀yin ọmọ Yorùbá lẹ̀ ń ṣe ritual. Drug làwọn ọmọ Ìgbò máa ń ṣe, àwọn Yorùbá náà máa ń ṣe drug. But ẹ̀yin Yorùbá lẹ̀ ń ṣe ritual. Ẹ̀yin lẹ́fẹ́, how you doing? How are you? Very good, very good. Neighbor mi nìyẹn, àwọn neighbor. Kò ń ṣe neighbor tí máa lọ bá pé mo ní máa gí nílé. Bomb bastard. Now, my concern about this video, my play, is not the building, but there's something that we have been talking about frequently. And what is it that we have been talking about? We have been talking about the language. Sherry, òyìnbó tá ń sọ, ó ń hold wa padà. Wọ́n béèrè lọ́wọ́ ọmọ yẹn, kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀? Bó ṣe ń wò bí orí ìrẹsì ṣé orí ìrẹsì lẹ máa ń pè. Mo kí alájà ara, mo kí dáadáa, ẹ kú àdúró ti Yorùbá World Media, mo kí president wa àbí chairman wa Dr. Zabi. Mo sọ fún Dr. Zabi, mo ní mò ń bọ̀ wá kí ní òkè lọ́hùn ní up north, mo ní láti fún yín ní gbogbo details. Mo ní mò ń bọ̀ wá kí Dr. Zabi. Tí bá lọ sọ́dọ̀ Dr. Zabi mo lè jẹun níbẹ̀, but tí bá wá sọ́dọ̀ tiwọn mo lè jẹun bẹ́ẹ̀ ni, mo lè lọ sọ́dọ̀ Dr. Zabi. Ẹran orí ìrẹsì ẹ ṣé gan ni. Wọ́n ń béèrè ọ̀rọ̀ lọ́wọ́ ọmọ yẹn bó ṣe ń wò dọ̀ GSS 3 kò gbọ́ pàápàá. So tó bá jẹ́ pé Yorùbá ló fi béèrè ọ̀rọ̀ lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀, wọ́n ní orí ẹja dídín orí ìrẹsì, àwọn tó mọ orí ẹja dídín ní Ìdòwú. Mo kí ẹ̀gbọ́n mi dáadáa Gbẹ̀du magazine, mo kí heritage náà, mo kí sister wa kan mọ̀ ní dárúkọ wọn, màmá wọn kú ní London níjọ́ Thursday, kọ́lọ́n bá ń foríjì wọn. Gbogbo àwọn tó ń kú náà káàkiri kọ́lọ́n foríjì wọn, kó tẹ́ wọn sáfẹ́fẹ́ rẹ̀. Mo rí ọ̀rẹ́ mi kan láàárọ̀ yìí lórí Instagram, a jọ lọ sí foundation ní London Met ni, mo ti send message sí mo ní nọ́mbẹ̀ mọ̀, kọ́lọ́n foríjì, mo mọ̀ bóyá sister ni, I believe so. Mo kọ́kọ́ rò pọ̀ mọ́ ẹni bọ̀ nígbà tí mo lọ wo age yẹn, mo ní kò tí ì lè bímọ nígbà yẹn, so ó dà ń pé sister ni. Ó ní ó pósù kan tó jáde láyé lénìí, kọ́lọ́n foríjì. A lot of people are going through a lot of things, so she might not be listening to the broadcast, but mo pray fún family yẹn. Gbogbo ẹni tí nǹkan náà ń dùn káàkiri téèyàn kú, because the last thing you want to people to die, but we are gonna die anyway. Ó fi kú wèrè, ó máa kú níjọ́ kan. Jẹ́ ká tètè gba Yorùbá country, so that tó bá ti kú wàá máa rántí pé yes ó fi nǹkan sílẹ̀. Ikú bàbá yèyé nísìn, gbogbo question tí mo bi bàbá yẹn lórí Yorùbá nation, mo ní kó jẹ́ kí n record ẹ̀, wọ́n jẹ́ kí n record ẹ̀, but wọ́n ní kí n jókòó káwọn sọ sí mi létí. Wọ́n ti lọ nísìn, wàhálà tí ó sì wà nílẹ̀ èmi sì yanjú ẹ̀. Tó bá jẹ́ pé ikú bàbá yèyé jáde nígbà tí a lọ bá wọn, èmi àti Gbowó, ta ní kí bàbá yìí jáde pé Yorùbá nation tá à ń fẹ́ yẹn ẹ bá wa gbóhùn síta, àwa máa defend ẹ̀ pa. Bàbá yẹn ní ẹ̀yin ọmọ mi, bàbá yẹn ti lọ nísìn, ọba kì í kú, ọba wàjà ni. Ìwọ ló orí ẹ̀ tó wọ̀ pé èmi rí ọba, mo mọ̀ tó ọba sọ fún mi, ìwọ máa sọ pé shut up there. Ikú bàbá yèyé would have declared Yorùbá nation, àwa máa back it up, but unfortunately bàbá yẹn ti lọ nísìn. But olórí burúkú Buhari ó ní kí wọ́n wá jí Ìgbòho gbé nínú palace. Ntí Ìgbòho sọ fún ikú bàbá yèyé, ìyẹn á dijọ́ wájú ẹ̀ máa gbọ́ yẹn, kò ń ṣọ̀rọ̀ nísìn, gbogbo ọ̀rọ̀ kan níyàn sọ síta. Àǹfààní ni, privilege ni pé mo jókòó, àwa mẹ́tẹ̀ẹ̀ta péré lájọ wà nínú yàrá. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mo sọ fún yín, kò dẹ̀ ń ṣe nǹkan, kò ń ṣe mẹ́ta, kò ń ṣe márùn-ún la lọ bá ikú bàbá yèyé, kọ́lọ́n fi orun kẹ́ bàbá yẹn. Tó bá yẹ pé bàbá yẹn ó follow ìta sọ fún wọn ni, ìta ń sọ ìkọ́ la máa sọ nísìn. Kíní kan wà pẹ̀lú UN, kíní kan wà pẹ̀lú British, but Here is another conversation. Sherry, English language. English language.
Hello, madam.
Is that?
You are Mrs.
Olórí burúkú àwọn colonial era. Tó gba èdè kúrò lọ́wọ́ wa, tó wá force English lé wa lórí. English yẹn gan nísìn. A lot of our students, ọmọ GSS 3 kò gbọ́ pàápàá kò lè sọ òyìnbó. Hey, kábíyèsí Elédùmarè. Nígbà tèmi tẹ̀ dé GS 1, bí a torí èmi lọ sí private school, but àwọn tó lọ sí public school náà mo pàdé wọn ní secondary school. Oh, somebody say, yo, talk English, man. Hey, okay, I'll talk English. This English na problem. You know, bad program here. Where are you watching me from? You need to tell me where you're watching me from, then I'll probably continue in English. Tell me where you're watching it from. Tell me where you're watching from. So, what I'm just trying to explain is the language, this English language that we were told to speak, is one of the biggest crime against humanity. The Chinese care less about English. The German care less. Hey, ẹ̀gbọ́n mi father re ó tó jọ́ mẹ́ta. Àwọn ẹ̀gbọ́n yẹn Colomban dúró tì. 3 years ago, they presented something to me. I presented it to our leaders, but I will not call into that anymore. If we have followed what they said 3 years ago, oh, you are watching on your iPad. I mean, which country? Okay, iPad. Okay, interesting. Anyway, let's carry some few people along because people are upset now that I'm speaking my language. So there's a video I want to show us. This video, a GSS 3. Can somebody explain to me GSS 3? What level will there be in UK? So that in case somebody that is watching from UK do not understand what GSS 3 is. They cannot speak English. The reason why we are saying that we must quickly come back and allow our own language to flourish so that a lot of our children currently now and the next generation would not have to be forced to speak English. YORUBALAND. They will not be forced to speak English. Year 9, Eshegoni Alajara. So imagine a year 9. Mokiya to bi mi lomo mo se salute fún ya mi. Ma dodo yin ní àárín ọ̀sẹ̀, mo lè promise yin le ni o. But adodo yin àṣírí wá sọ́dọ̀ yín kí wọ́n jẹrẹ sí. A year 9 student cannot speak English. The question is it a must for us to speak English? It is not a must, but because during the colonial era, they took away our language, which is Yoruba, and they forced us to speak English. 64 years after independence, 108 years after the fraudulent 1914 amalgamation, many of our children still cannot speak the same nonsense English. A GSS 3, which is equivalent to a year 9 in UK. I don't know what it's going to be in America and Canada and the rest of the country, but you have an idea what I'm talking about. The question then is this how we are going to continue? Not that they cannot speak the English, but when you do not even have the conducive environment, the teachers are there, but the building is gone already. So let's watch the video and then we're going to play our anthem and we continue. In case you want to see the video properly, it's on my Facebook, it's on my TikTok, it's on my Instagram. This is happening. This is just one out of many. I saw another one in Edo State. Those ones were even sleeping on the floor. These are very, very sad situation time for the country called the Giant of Africa. I call it the Ant of Africa. Let's listen to this.
Mrs.
Mori.
Which subject are you taking?
I'm taking Christian Religious Studies.
Why your students are still sitting on the ground like this?
That is the condition we are facing here because of shortage of classrooms.
That is the condition because of shortage of, not that we don't have the land. We have the land to build, but we don't have the faculty of those governors to know that they have to build classrooms. Let's continue. A very good afternoon and welcome.
It's okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Now, listen to this side.
What's your name? Eh? What's your name?
Damn CMS.
What class are you?
Yeah.
What class are you?
What subject are you taking?
Hold on. Let me rewind that a little bit. He was able to pronounce his name.
Your name?
I mean, what is your name? Everybody knows that. My name is Ikechi. My name is Kukula Tepa. My name is Kola Wole. My name is Mumino. Even in Canada, I'm told it's year 9. Thank you so much, for that update. Now, how can a year 9 not able to speak a very basic English? Is because we have been forced that English is the right language that must be used to communicate in a country that has 350 something ethnic groups. And today, 108 years after independence, we still have many of our children, whether Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa, and the rest of the ethnic groups, cannot still speak this English. The question is it not better for us to pull back now and then start talking about our own local language to communicate with, and English will be a secondary language? Go ahead.
What's your name?
Damn CMS.
What class are you?
Just TV.
What subject are you taking here?
CRS.
So he was able to answer 3 questions. What is your name? Somebody said we have 520 languages. Thank you so much. What is your name? My name is Dancy. What class are you? GSS 3. What subject are you being taught? CRS, Christian Religious Knowledge. I did that as well in secondary school. The question that comes after this year 9 equivalent got stuck. Let's listen.
How are you people sitting down on the ground or standing up like this?
English became stuck. He cannot answer.
Who is stand? Who can speak English very well?
Now, the man now realized that he's wasting his time. This one, he know if he speak. It's not his fault. Don't put the blame on this year 9. Let's put the blame on these bastard politicians that were all taught under a free education under Babawolowo. But today, this is in Ibadan, in Oyo State. Somebody is even telling me that a YX student of SS3 cannot speak English. And you expect that country to function. So the man realized that this one now is not his fault. If they've asked the young boy to speak in Igbo, speak in Hausa, speak in Yoruba, I can tell you that they will speak fluently without any problem. When you go to China, Muki sister Miola Jiri, we spoke for like almost 12 minutes. She's a family. Some of you don't know that. So, and I want to know, I don't know anybody. More family me, more the Mount Georgia family. So, can you come up with me? So, but I'm not going to go there. Thank you so much for the chat this morning. I'm very accessible. If you want to talk to me, at least mommy me conti oni Koiki ni gba October 1st. Okora run mommy lọ́wọ́ ni. Ó pariwo phone. Má yẹ kí irú o máa pariwo phone. Àwọn tó mọ value nìyẹn. Mo dẹ̀ dúpẹ́ fún gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ mọ value náà. Ṣẹ̀rí media, ẹ̀ ń fi media ṣeré. Tí mọ value media. Kọ́lọ̀ jẹ́ ká mọ̀. Al Jazeera is a sponsor platform by Qatar government. Àwọn ló ń ṣe narrative tó lọ ní Middle East. Ṣé mọ̀ pé Israel fẹ́ lé wọn kúrò ní Israel ní sin Al Jazeera? Wọ́n ní because narrative tó ń gbé jáde kò favour Israel. You will fund the media. You will fund the Yoruba world media. You will fund the home-based media if you really want us to succeed in this Yoruba nation struggle. Tí méjèèjì yẹn bá ti fail, both the world media, the home-based media, and the independent, together, but àwọn kan tún wà tó jẹ́ independent. If we fail the media by not supporting it, it will be a struggle láti compete, láti deliver message Yoruba nation. Media gangan ló níṣẹ́ lọ́wọ́. Ṣé rí gbogbo àwọn YSDM yẹn, mo ṣì ń bọ̀ fún wọn ni mo sọ. They have a lot of work to do, and we have to start talking about those jobs. Kò ṣe pé ká kàn máa gbọ́ YSDM, ká máa polówó YSDM. Tó bá ní ìdówó kọ́ wá sọ fún wa, ká gbé wọn síta, káwọn èèyàn àwọn ESN every week ló ń ṣe fundraising. 3 years ago, àwọn brother mi kan wọ́n wà lórí platform yìí, lọ gbé proposal kan wá fún wa. Mo present ẹ̀ fáwọn leaders wa bí a ló máa work lọ́la. Mo ní mi gangan ní Yorùbá nation. Èmi ni last man standing movement yìí. Tó bá ti sú gbogbo wọn, èmi ṣe bẹ̀rẹ̀ ni. Mo sọ fún yín ẹ rò pé mo ń ṣeré. Now, 15 a year 9 is struggling to communicate in English. Number one, why is it struggling? It's because of the problem that we are trying to diffuse. But some of you think it's a joke. Imagine this year 9 cannot speak English at GSS 3. I mean, by the time he gets to SS1, you know when you push any until he succeed out of secondary school. This is why we are saying that English is one of the biggest problems that has been forced on us. Now, Taba, I don't want to play the other side because Tibani can play the other side and anything. It could be very, very upsetting. Every one of them, they go on free bus until, as long as they're in full education, free bus pass. Pastor Emmanuel Togba. Number one, there's no problem when we have Christian being taught, Christian, CRS. I did CRS in YEC. Good at most Islamic study. As a Muslim, Islamic study, in secondary school. But I refused to do that. I did Christian religious knowledge. In secondary school. From GSS 1, and I passed it even up. Because in Bible Timomo. But we are talking about a future problem that we must diffuse today. Well, I'm not going to join YSDM. I'm not going to bring that into the forum here. Yami Davids or Koiki join YSDM. I'm not going to join YSDM. I am an independent. My job is to make sure that we checkmate of every organization. So we have talked about that. We're not going to bring that onto the forum. We can have a conversation at the back end. Atiba on meeting. So, but I'm not going to push that here. But what I'm saying is I'm going to talk about YSDM because YSDM only do. People are asking me questions every day. So YSDM needs to come out and talk to us. So that's what I'm saying. So, I feel make money, Benny. Say that can make money. Bomb bastard. Kò ní dá fún bàbá tó bí ẹ olórí burúkú man. Ó rí pé ó lè forúkọ síbẹ̀ gan ní user. Ṣé user lè kó máa jẹ́ olóṣì? Only you want to make money. Ṣé Buhari ò make money olóṣì? Buhari make money nísìn ó ti sá lọ báyìí nísìn. Economy ti bàjẹ́. Olórí burúkú tó ń pè mí pé you want to make money. No money make money. Kò ní dá fún bàbá ẹ bomb bastard. Ìwọ náà sọ pé wèrè ni mí bàbá tó bí ẹ kò ní dá fún. Èmi ni máa block ẹ àbí èmi ní access láti block olóṣì olórí burúkú. Tinubu wà ńbẹ̀ nísìn kẹ́ lọ bá kó fún yín lówó bomb bastard. Tí bá fẹ́ make money mo kò yẹ kò dà kí make money. Ṣé èèyàn lè ṣe wàhálà kó má make money? Buhari ló lọ tán nísìn gbogbo owó kọ́ ló ti kó lọ báyìí nísìn. Buhari ti yá owó ahead olóṣì. Now à ń complain nípa pé we are not one. Ẹ̀yin sọ fún wa pé we are one. How can we have in Ibadan a year 9 cannot speak in English? It might not mean anything. But if it's in reverse, multi-block ọmọ àlẹ́ multi-block olórí burúkú ni bomb bastard, ó wá distract wa ni. Àwọn ọmọ tí ó ní tì ní rán káàkiri ni olóṣì ìyàwó èrè kò ní kú síbi táṣù ẹ̀ wà. Now, the question we should ask ourselves is, in the next 30 years, in the next 20 years, should we continue with this trajectory? Don't force the English they were lórí. We will have many youths tó máa ṣe tán ní secondary school, tó máa wọ university. Wọ́n ní lè defend the project wọn. Wọ́n ní lè defend the project wọn. So how do you want to compete with the international and the global community? Ẹ lọ wo program tí mo ṣe ní ìdájí ní 2 o'clock lóru. Mo ní UK fẹ́ bá Africa ṣe business, but ní problem pẹ̀lú yẹn. But we want UK to also work with us as an independent sovereign nation, not with Nigeria. Because this country called Nigeria is holding us back, is dragging us back. It is not allowing us to flourish. And I'm going to be talking about a few things. So let's so I'm going to rewind it again.
Good morning. What's your name?
At least somebody was able to speak in English in that same situation. But the other man or the other young boy, now, Oma feel sad. English ló ń bá wọn sọ̀rọ̀ báyìí tó wọn ò dẹ̀ gbọ́. Kò dẹ̀ mọ̀ pé wàhálà táwa ń ṣe nísìnyí pé English yẹn kọ́ ni language wa is a borrowed language. This is the reason why we are all asking for Yoruba nation. Not that we're going to get Yoruba nation and we cannot still have English as a part of our, society. At least I have been to Turkey. But I was able to move around because English was part of what they were using to communicate on their rail network. So it is not about us saying that we should keep Nigeria when Nigeria is dragging us back, especially with the language. Nigeria is not a country. Nations are people that speak the same language. And this is why we are saying that I saw that video. I was not worried about the roof and other things. I was more concerned that this young boy now will feel very sad. Oh, they saw English. The same way they were telling us then, oh, you cannot speak in vernacular. Speak in English, speak in English. Today, right now, many of our people that are living in other countries that are not English speaking have to go and relearn another language. If you go to Finland, where Simon Ekpa is, you have to speak in Finnish. If you go to Germany, where Yeyedara is, and Igbowosha, my own, you would have to learn how to. You can go there on a visit, but if you decide that you want to stay there, you want to study there, they will not communicate with you in the classroom with English in Germany. The same thing goes to Italy. The same thing goes to Belgium. The same goes to other countries. The only difference is some of us that are in this country and probably in Canada and some other countries like America, you are not likely to learn another language because English is the communication language there. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Go to Saudi Arabia. Go to any of these Arab countries. Go to Qatar. Qatar is changing the narrative. Qatar has been able to be the Middle East country that is taking the glory of so many things around the world today. They are any problem to share anything. Qatar will negotiate it. The two people that have been released with America, and I think they've released another two today, this is mediated by Qatar, a 3 million country. This is where we should start thinking ahead. Do we want to be in a country? We want to be in a position to be able to change the narratives, especially in West Africa. We can still have cordial relationship with all the African countries, but many of you do not want that. Many of you are not saying what we are saying. English is a scam. You're right, my brother. It's a bigger scam. But how do I convince somebody that English is a scam? That is the problem I'm having. Because if I tell somebody that English is a scam, automatically they are saying me that maybe I don't understand what I'm saying. English is a borrowed language, but we are using English to do biology when we can use Yoruba to do biology. Chinese do not use English to study. They use the Chinese language because the Chinese language is taught from the primary or even the nursery, even from the daycare. And in every household in China, they don't have to speak in English. So what they have to speak with is the language. Yoruba has a Yoruba alphabet. I don't think some of you know that. But today, as we continue to tell our people that the time is here now for us, I'm not sure whether I transmit the few minutes. So let me play the part of the rest of the video. We're going to rewind it again. But one student was able to speak in English, but English is a borrowed language. Let's listen to this again.
You have given us detail of how it's created these days. In a nutshell, what I want you to do today is that
You are Mrs. What?
I'm Mrs. Mori.
Mrs.
Mori.
Which subject are you taking?
I'm taking Christian Religious Studies.
Why your students are still sitting on the ground like this?
That is the condition we are facing here because of shortage of classrooms.
It's okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
What's your name? Eh? What's your name?
Down CMS.
What class are you?
Yes, TV.
What subject are you taking here?
CRS.
Why are you people sitting down on the ground or standing up like this? Who is sound?
Who
can speak English very well?
Did you hear the man say? Who can speak English very well? Because he realized that the young boy cannot speak English. Maybe the man should have asked, Shogbo Yoruba, Abi Shogbo Igbo, Shogbo Hausa. I'm sure the boy would have responded very well and fluently. Language is one of the reasons why a nation is a country. Nigeria is not
Good
a country.
morning. What's your name? What subject are you taking here?
CRS.
CRS. Why do people are sitting down on the ground on the window like this? What of your chairs? Yeah?
Because there's no roof.
One. What happened again? If there's roof, do you have chairs here?
No.
Are you comfortable with it?
No.
What are you saying now? Are you appealing to the government or the old students?
Did you hear that? How can they be appealing to the old students? The responsibility of the school has got to do with the government. Mokia Kentos Abebi, Mr. Fatai Kazim Moki. I'm just mentioning it. Hey, Comrade Kobodoku, Olabandrotin. Olabandrotin. That's all I will say. Just remain as you are. History will remember every one of us. You have played a very, very vital role that some people do not even understand, but I'm not going to explain that on the live broadcast. But my bami dúpẹ́ fún Comrade Kobodoku. Money, I will need to kọ̀wé kankan nísìn. Àwa ṣì ń bá ṣe lọ because I think by Yoruba Nation. Forget about gbogbo nonsense to lórí burúkú dúpọ̀ ní tìrì sọ pé àwọn ti gba ẹni tó ní kú síbi táṣọ ẹ̀ wà. I think by country, Nigeria is still operating. Even I'm going to tell you a little bit of what I saw from the Chief Finance Minister Ati Kadoso. They want to fix Nigeria. I wish and I hope that they will fix Nigeria. But when they finish their government, they will remove Kadoso. They will remove the finance minister. And the Northerners will bring another person. And gbogbo wàhálà táwọn brain ní Yorùbá ṣe to try to fix the economy. To try of Omajel or work new neighbor me. What happened to your leg? Is your back? Okay. All right. I think probably maybe just a little bit of relax.
Do you know what sauna?
Sorry?
Sauna and swimming.
Yeah.
Helping me.
Well, then book for that.
I've not done it in a while. Yeah.
Well, you might have to. You might have to because I could see what you start asking. The question is the parent of this family these children. One of them will not be happy. Mokiba Bawa, Akebaye, Victor, Omobolaji, Mokiba Bawa, Towa, Labeto. Some of them are watching, but they're using another account to watch us. Mokiba Kabi is Patapata. Yesterday we were lucky to have the Kabi itself, Iweleri. No. Iwe Eshati Ye Iweri. We had the Kabi with us on the TikTok yesterday. Ibiyemi Moke. So why are we continue to say to ourselves that Yoruba niwa Iwere ile what about me cosita Iwere ile mo mix it up ile Iwere ile báwo mo ṣe pass Yoruba gan ní secondary school kò tẹ́tí yé mi Ọlọ́run kó ṣàánú wa. Why we are saying that we want Yoruba nation mo kí bàbá wa mọ́mí wa Ayọ̀ Ayẹni Ọlọ́run bá dúró tí ẹ ṣe gan ni mà ó tọ́jọ́ mẹ́ta mọ́mí wa Fatusi Elizabeth mo kí ma. Moki Dr. Aliyu now for the great work they are doing and the rest of us as well. Why we are saying that we want Yoruba nation?
To do what for you?
They are appealing to the government. The government is not going to do anything because the government is so busy. After this, I'm going to pay the anthem. This is Bola Tinubu.
Food and other prices have followed it. Households and businesses struggle. Things seem anxious and uncertain. I understand the hardship you face. I wish there were other ways.
Bola Tinubu says he wish there are other ways. So, which other ways is Bola Tinubu talking about? He has, as Moki Egbomi,
because of fuel has gone up.
Iwere ile, Yoruba mi ò dáadáa gbogbo àwọn tá ṣe máa lọ ṣe Yoruba language lọ́jọ́ iwájú, and there's nothing wrong in that, when you want to do that. So, more cross-posting, more realize, I don't do cross-posting when I'm using the phone. So, that is, Moki Mommy wa Abose de Rachel, Ekutojumi, Eshigoni, Grandma Rafiat, Eshigoni, Otojo Metama, Kedewa. Very, very careful. I'm not going to give too much details because people share a lot of things with me and they don't ask me to tell you as well. So, when I greet people, I know who is who, especially, 3 years in the program. I know I want to watch and don't be the question, and I want people to ask questions because asking questions will be able to resolve some of our problems as well. Eshigoni, Yami, Ayo Ayeni, Mama Ayeni family as well. ó dà pa àwọn ẹ̀pẹ́ ní àbí no Edu family lẹ̀pẹ́ kọ́lọ́n fọ́run kẹ́ bàbá yẹn SL Edu ó ní owó bí ṣìgìdì gbogbo wọn ti kú nísìn wọ́n ti fi problem lẹ̀ fáwọn bàbá yẹn nísìn kọ́lọ́n jẹ́ káwa náà yanjú ẹ̀ débì kan because tá a bá yanjú ẹ̀ débì kan òun la máa rí ayé gbé àìtí rí ayé gbé nísìn because of the problems in Nigeria. So ẹ jẹ́ ká play anthem mi àti pẹ́ lórí ẹ̀ play anthem alátẹ̀ kan so tẹ́ bá mọ anthem mi ẹ kọ́ tẹ́lẹ̀ mi. Orílẹ̀-èdè kàgbéga ìgbàgbọ́ láti bẹ̀rù ìṣọ̀kan tó ìnira ìkẹjẹ ká máa lè bá tẹ̀síwájú ọ̀pọ̀ ire àtòhun tó dára ọmọ Odùduwà dìde bọ́ sí ipò ẹ̀tọ́ rẹ̀ ìwọ ni ìmọ́lẹ̀ gbogbo adúláwọ̀. ẹ máa wọ́ndà pé kí ló ń pa bílẹ̀ rẹ̀ you know sometimes you know tí bá ń wo nǹkan mẹ́rin akọ́ máa pa mí ilé ṣe ń lọ dọ̀gọ̀dọ̀ bíi mọ́tò Abẹ́òkúta báyìí àbí táyẹ̀ ti fọ́ ni mọ́tò yẹn kankan ti ṣe irú mọ́tò tèmi náà dẹ́ ń lò ń bá kan ni nǹkan ti go wrong. Mo kí gbogbo alẹ́ nǹkan sí mo kí Mr. Saheed Balogun ó ní brother mi kan ìgbọ́n mi kan the only time tí mo rí tó change DP wọn in the last 3 years òun nígbà tí màmá wọn kú ni mo rí pé wọ́n change it briefly. The love that some of you have for us, I don't know what we can do to repay it back. The only thing I can repay it back is to remain consistent with what I'm doing. I'm not going to be distracted. There's so many problems in Nigeria. Mukia TJ Baba. I want to remain on the project. Some people have asked, Koiki, when is it going to happen? In reality, at least lẹ́yìn Mutibayan bí márùn sọ̀rọ̀. Mutiba ní Nigeria. So some of you wants to know when it's going to happen. Ó máa ṣẹlẹ̀ when we are all fully ready to go. So àwa gbọ́dọ̀ campaign ẹ gbọ́dọ̀ máa lọ mú kí ní Badagry. Tálẹ́ni tí mo sọ ìbàbá mi Sulaiman. Picture tèmi àti wọ́n yà láti bí ọdún mẹ́ta ló wà lórí status wọn. He hasn't changed it. And some of you have done the same thing. So we appreciate it, we love you, and we say to you, ẹ fọkàn balẹ̀. Kò ń ṣe tí Tinubu ló sọ, Tinubu náà fẹ́ fix Nigeria, kọ́lọ̀ fún ṣe. Thank you so much, Mrs. Kemi Uniki. But I am saying that this Yoruba nation struggle, any media to danto, any world media, any home-based media, but èmi KOIKIMEDIA, double layer ni. Double layer. Kọ́lọ́mbà Fọ̀rúnkẹ́ ẹ̀gbọ́n mi Dàpọ̀ Williams. Àwọn ẹnu wọn mo ti kọ́kọ́ gbọ́ pé presidency sọ pé wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ ní kankan bá Koiki ṣe ní London. Láti presidency lọ ti sọ fún Dàpọ̀ Williams pé anything tó bá fẹ́ ṣe tó bá ti involve federal government wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ pé KOIKIMEDIA sí. Ẹ̀gbọ́n yẹn bẹ́ mi títí mo ní no mo ní gbà tí Buhari ń bọ̀ in tó sọ pé òun máa ṣe kọ́ ló ń ṣe olórí burúkú ni ó ní má máa sọ yẹn jáde Koiki. ọ̀rẹ́ wọn kan ìgbà tí mo lọ lé ní few years back ká tó bẹ̀rẹ̀ Yorùbá Nation bus stop ni mo wà ní mọ́tò wọn kọjá lára mi wọ́n kọ́ reverse padà ní big car big man ó ti padà lọ London mo ní mi ṣe fàájì Nàìjíríà o èmi ń lọ Nàìjíríà ṣe 3 weeks I do like 6 weeks or 8 weeks bá ṣe wọnú mọ́tò wọn ní ibo ló ń lọ ní ibo mo ń lọ èmi ń ṣe fàájì káàkiri ni bí ṣe tẹ̀lé wọn wọnú mọ́tò nìyẹn nígbà yẹn ni wọ́n tẹ bá rántí yí ẹ̀ kan wọ́n ní Ọbásanjọ́ wà ní Nàìjíríà kò sí ní Nàìjíríà mo mọ tó ṣẹlẹ̀ nígbà yẹn wọ́n ní Ọbásanjọ́ wà ní Nàìjíríà kò sí Nàìjíríà I don't know what was happening around that time orí ìjókòó náà ẹ̀gbọ́n yẹn ti pe Ọbásanjọ́ wàláì àwọn kan ní wọ́n ní bàbá contact lọ́wọ́ àìtí ọ̀rọ̀ tí mò ń sọ yẹn àtẹ̀tí bẹ̀rẹ̀ Yorùbá nation ìṣojú mi báyìí lọ ṣe pé Ọbásanjọ́ ló gbé sí speaker wọ́n ní àbúrò mi kan wà níbí báyìí Kóìkì ó ní bàbá pé wọ́n ní ẹwà Nàìjíríà bàbá yìí náà wọ́n sí Nàìjíríà o àwọn Yorùbá kan ní jẹ́ ẹ lọ àṣírí lẹ gbọ́ lẹ́nu mi yẹn ibi tó ti inú Nàìjíríà connection tó wà lọ́wọ́ wọn tó ti gbà àwọn tó ń ṣe pé Tinubu nísìn wọ́n kọ̀ fi gba connection lára Tinubu ni that's all wọ́n kọ̀ fi gba connection lára Tinubu kí ló dé tí Tinubu ò fi Délé Aláké kó fi ṣe information minister èbí òun ló ṣe commissioner for information ẹ̀ ní Lagos State Délé Aláké náà fẹ́ jẹbẹ̀ òun náà fẹ́ lówó dáadáa ó lọ fi sí mineral resources kódà ó náà òun lòun sọ fún Tinubu pé ibẹ̀ lòun fẹ́ àwọn ọ̀wọ́ ní problem pẹ̀lú gbogbo yẹn but what we are saying is that gbogbo àwọn tí Tinubu assemble kalẹ̀ they are the best wọ́n dẹ̀ sọ fún mi pé ayẹ ni àwọn ọ̀sàlẹ̀kó nìyẹn àwọn SLEDU àwọn ẹ̀pẹ́ nìyẹn bàbá yẹn ní owó bí ṣìgìdì so ẹ má expect pé gbogbo àwọn elite wa ló máa tẹ̀lé wa no wọ́n ń gbọ́n tá à ń sọ gbogbo wọn mọ̀ pé problem wà Nàìjíríà but àwọn kan ti ní access tó yẹ pé wọ́n lè survive for the next 20 years tó bá manage àwọn kan dẹ̀ ti invest lórí àwọn tí mo ń sọ tí mo ń dárúkọ yìí mo sọ fún yín pé tí Buhari kó tó dé UK Dàpọ̀ Williams ti wà wẹ́ẹ̀ kó tó announce Buhari ń bọ̀ ní Nàìjíríà fún yín kó ń bọ̀ London àwa ti wà wẹ́ẹ̀ and there were so many other areas ó kọ̀wé fún Buhari náà bureaucratics èmi mo lọ bá wọn cover ní Nigerian High Commission àwọn lọ torí wọn mo ṣe dé àkókò now let's come back into the program again I was listening to the finance minister this morning lórí channels I'm going to go on my YouTube phone is slow a little bit and what I was watching there was like these are men that are ready to fix Nigeria. Hopefully they'll be able to fix it according to them because we know that nobody can fix Nigeria. Nigeria is unfixable. Nigeria is unfixable. So anyone saying that they're going to fix Nigeria, run from there. Mo kẹ́ ẹ̀ tẹ́ wà lórí Mixela, Comrade Plan B, oníbẹ̀ẹ́ni, bomb bastard ní àwọn colonial master yẹn. Ó ní weather very hot ní Ìbàdàn. Mo ń bọ̀ láìpẹ́, ó kù díẹ̀. A jọ máa lọ Jamala ní pẹ̀lú ògo Ọlọ́run. Okay, YouTube mi ti padà. Mo fẹ́ lọ play ẹ̀hún lélẹ̀. Ó máa ṣe advert nísìnyí. Okay. Youth Channels Television ni àlọ́ ṣe advert o. Monetization ló ń pè. Máa sọ fún mi pé mo ní ìdòwò. Channels Television tó lówó lọ́wọ́ wọ́n ṣì ń gba monetization lórí YouTube. Èmi ò dẹ̀ rí monetization gbà láti April. Èèyàn kan wá sọ pé you are doing it for money, bomb bastard. Mo kí ẹ jàre easy dollar, mo kí ẹ ní Houston, another brother there. Mo kí gbogbo àwọn ìlànà pátápátá, mo dẹ̀ kí àwọn YSDM, but I'm going to talk about YSDM. Tẹ́ bá máa bínú lẹ́ máa bínú. Independent media ni mí. My job is to make sure that we ask questions and those questions must be answered. Mo sọ pé tẹ́ bá ní ìdòwò ẹ sọ fún wa. We cannot allow ourselves to continue without having what people want to know. YSDM is the Emikoni mo lead the movement, media lemi. And I don't have to go and bury myself into any organization. Mo wà lórí program àwọn Global Directorate níjọ́ Saturday, gbogbo tán sọ mo kàn gbọ́. Independent lemi. So, ẹ jẹ́ ká gbọ́n tí what they are saying is that wọ́n ní Nigeria is expecting $10 billion forex inflow in weeks. Finance minister. I'm not going to argue with them. Àwọn ọlọ́mọ bí tó ti fẹ́ rí owó yẹn, wọ́n máa yá ni, wọ́n máa ṣe kíní kan ni, I don't know. But my concern is that ṣẹ́rí gbogbo ètò tí Tinubu ń tò yìí, with the hope pé òun fẹ́ make sure pé sẹ́ Nàìjíríà ṣiṣẹ́ kóun tó lọ. Ẹ má bínú ẹ̀ka àdúgbò báyìí because yeah ó better báyìí. That is the responsibility of Tinubu. Iṣẹ́ tó gbà nìyẹn, iṣẹ́ tó náà fẹ́ ṣe nìyẹn. But ìbéèrè tí mò ń fẹ́ bi ẹ̀yin ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n tẹ́ ń gbọ́ wa ní gbogbo ìgbà ni pé ṣé táwọn àwọn ọkùnrin ńláńlá yìí tí Tinubu assemble àwọn brains yìí tó pọ̀, because Tinubu ti mọ àwọn brains tó fẹ́ lò òun fúnra rẹ̀ gan brain, but brain ẹ̀ wọ́n ní ó ti wà frustrated. I'm not here to argue that. Ó gbé finance minister wa, ẹ jẹ́ n lọ wo kí lórúkọ finance minister yẹn, tẹ́ bá dẹ̀ mọ̀ ẹ bá mi sáré fi sí comment section kí lórúkọ finance minister yẹn. Finance minister Nigeria, mo mọ Cardoso, òun ni CBN. Wálé Ẹdùn, bàbá wa Wálé Ẹdùn, ẹ kú iṣẹ́ takuntakun. Àwa ń wò yín báyìí, ẹ fẹ́ make Nigeria kó great àbí? No problem. Ẹ fẹ́ jẹ́ kí Nigeria kó great kó lè máa compete pẹ̀lú other African countries. But ṣé wọ́n máa retain yín ṣá tí Tinubu bá lọ? Ẹ bá mi béèrè lọ́wọ́ bàbá wa Wálé Ẹdùn, ẹ ṣé gan ni Pastor Mo. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, ìwé eré ilé. We were lucky to have the Kábíyèsí with us on TikTok yesterday. Mo kí Kábíyèsí ìwé eré ilé. Ẹ sọ fún wọn pé 1 week yẹn calm down tí ń wà o. Gbogbo ẹni tẹ́ ní ẹ Kóìkì, Ìgbòho má wálé, Kóìkì, gbogbo yẹn káwọn governors. And èèyàn kan dẹ̀ ti hint mi lọ́sàn-án kí n tó bẹ̀rẹ̀ program, wọ́n send the report yẹn sí mi. Àwọn ló jẹ́ kí n mọ̀ pé Sanwó-Olú, mo mọ̀ bí Dàpọ̀ Abíọ́dún wà níbẹ̀, Oyèbánjí, ó dà pé Dàpọ̀ Abíọ́dún wà, wọ́n náà ṣèpàdé ní Ìbàdàn ní Agodi. Èmi ò mọ̀ pàdé tó lọ ṣe, but ibẹ̀ ni mo tún wá rí pé Akérédolú ṣì ń operate láti Ìbàdàn, one bastard. Kí ló ń operate fún? Tó bá mọ̀ pé sick, resign. Kí ló fẹ́ parẹ́ fún? Akérédolú tèmi meet, bàbá tí mo meet ní 2017, it's not the same Akérédolú that I'm seeing. It's very ill. Kọ́lọ̀ fún ẹ lálàáfíà, ti sọ pé kọ́lọ̀ fún ẹ lálàáfíà. Why are you forcing yourself on the people? Let your deputy take over. Àmọ́ pé yẹn náà fẹ́ jẹ governor náà ni. But tó bá dé lọ ṣe election, àwọn èèyàn vote fún the right person. Mo padà bọ̀ lọ́dọ̀ àwọn yẹn. Mr. Wálé Ẹdùn, òyìnbó tẹ́ ń sọ yìí ti pọ̀ jù. The former finance minister said a lot of things. Olórí burúkú àwọn ló ti sá lọ nísìn. Obìnrin yẹn, Zainab, kò sí Nàìjíríà mọ́, ó ti sá lọ. Just like Dezeni náà sá lọ nígbà yẹn. Dezeni àti mú mọ́lẹ̀ sí bíbá. Ẹ jẹ́ ń pọ́n wọn lé, ẹ mọ̀ pọ́n ọmọ Yorùbá ni wá. Ẹ mọ̀ ò lè máa sọ tí bá ní Wálé Ẹdùn nísìn wọ́n ní mo lẹ́kọ̀ọ́. Ṣé jẹ́ kí n fi bàbá yẹn sí? Jack Olúṣọlá ti ń bínú. Ó ní Kóìkì kí ló ń pè wọ́n ní bàbá fún? Ẹ jẹ́ àpè wọ́n bá, ó ti bímọ náà. Lóòótọ́, these are okay. Mr. Wálé Ẹdùn. Mr. Wálé Ẹdùn wants to project the economy of Nigeria to work, and we pray he does that so that Ali is problem fẹ́yìntẹ́ wà nílé, because Nigeria has not broke to pieces right now as we want it. It has not disintegrated. It has not dissolved. So their own job is different from our own. Their own is to fix Nigeria. Our own is to dissolve Nigeria, because Mr. Wálé Ẹdùn will not be able to be retained after. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, respect for our Yorùbá, bẹ́ẹ̀ni lè pè ní Wálé Ẹdùn kí ni kàn mí. Ẹni tó jẹ́ CBN governor wa níbí ìbàyẹ̀ orúkọ la máa ń là mọ́ lórí. Òun gan expect kí n fún ní Mr. Gonsẹ̀, but let's leave that anyway. So Mr. Wálé Ẹdùn, we understand what you're trying to do. You want to make Nigeria to be having enough forex. But the question I'm asking you is, I hope that after Bola Tinubu government, you will be retained again, so that you can continue to the trajectory to keep that economy of Nigeria. Or are you going to be removed? Are you going to be removed as the finance minister that worked very hard to make sure that Nigeria glory is there? Because I am concerned that after this government, the next government that is coming, nobody knows what they're going to do. Mo rántí ẹ̀gbọ́n mi kan ní bíbá, mo ní dárúkọ ẹ̀, very popular, man. We all had clash. Ṣẹ́rí ọ̀rọ̀ Tinubu yìí, ó dá ìjà gidi lẹ̀ láàrin ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwa àti Yorùbá ara wa. Ẹ̀gbọ́n mi dáadáa, this government tó wà níbẹ̀, it created a lot of fight between Yoruba to Yoruba. Because I could see it about posting kankan nígbà yẹn, why attack me? Kí ló ń ṣe ẹ̀gbọ́n ìnà? Gbogbo ẹjọ́ mọ́ra wa náà ní London ni, ẹ̀gbọ́n dẹ̀ lẹ jẹ́ sí mi. Mo máa pé cough off. Ṣe gbà sí fún wọn nìyẹn. Àìtí sọ̀rọ̀ láti gbà yẹn. Wọ́n lè máa wò mí báyìí nísìnyí, gbogbo wọn ti lọ ní fake account tó fi ń operate tó fi ń wò mí. Mo kí grandma Titi Crowder ẹ káàbọ̀ mà. Wọ́n ní I hope they all realize that their appointments are not forever. The Fulanis can't wait to host them out. Hey, grandma, àwọn òyìnbó ńláńlá yìí, àwọn òyìnbó ńláńlá yìí olóyè gbọ́dọ̀ lọ ṣe translation ẹni kó lè bá yé àwọn èèyàn. So we are saying that why would Mr. Wale Edun trying to fix something that will be destroyed in another 8 years? I hope you are understanding what I'm saying. Number one, I have told you that would this government be able to make sure that before this government goes, owó yẹn ó ti mo rí ìyàn kan sẹ́ni kankan sí mi, wọ́n ní naira is dead. Mo ní no, ó ti dead nígbà tí Buhari wà níbẹ̀. Tinubu ló kọ̀ lọ forí kó ẹmọ àwọn kí ló máa ń pe cobwebs. Tinubu ló lọ forí kó because Buhari destroyed the economy to the extent that some of us will not eloka inti Renault tó kọ eloka inti mo mọ̀ pé àwọn yẹn ń polówó ọjà ni Ibro kí ló ń pe bọ̀bọ̀ yẹn tó ní silver bed ṣé Ibro náà ló yàn ṣé Ibro ló ń jẹ́ àwọn tó ní silver bed ẹ ṣe gan ni grandma Jankariwo ó ṣe gan ni ẹ̀gbọ́n mi Jakolusola bẹ́ẹ̀ ni Ọlákúnlé èmi àtẹ̀tì miss call láàárọ̀ ẹ ṣe gan ni bàbá wa ọ̀nà àwọn èèyàn tẹ̀lé wa lórí program. Tinubu ló lọ fi orí kó Jankariwo. Tó bá jẹ́ pé Tinubu ò lọ fún election tí kò sọ pé mi ló kàn, ṣe mọ̀ pé this time Ben Bruce ẹ ṣe gan ni ẹ̀gbọ́n mi mo pàdé àwọn ọmọ Ben Bruce ní Turkey. Tó bá jẹ́ pé mo fẹ́ jẹun gidi, tó jẹ́ pé mo fẹ́ lówó, wọ́n ṣe cinema event kan ní Turkey, the biggest cinema event in the world. Gbogbo àwọn ọmọ Ben Bruce yẹn ló wá. Wọ́n tẹ̀ kọ́kọ́ fi máa ṣe ẹ rò pé Nàìjíríà lèmi ti fly wa ni. Nígbà tí mo ní pé London based journalist wọ́n súnmọ́ mi lẹ́sẹ̀kẹsẹ̀ pé ẹ jẹ́ ká sọ̀rọ̀. Àwọn ọmọ yẹn ń dán bigi wọ́n ń dán ṣubúṣubú ni bọ̀bẹ̀ kan mo fẹ́ lò. So kò ń ṣe pé media táwa gbé dání, media ló ní access jù láti penetrate anything, but media tó bá jẹ́ pé oníjẹkújẹ irú èní báyìí tí mo ń jókòó tí mo ń sọ̀rọ̀ báyìí wọ́n kàn máa sọ pé who is that guy eléyìí tá pàdé ní Turkey àwọn náà máa lambast mi kò ń ṣe pé mi náà nídòwò but kí ni mo fẹ́ fàyàn bẹ́ẹ̀ ni pé Mr. Wale Edun àwa fẹ́ jẹ́ kẹ́ ṣiṣẹ́ tó máa work but iṣẹ́ yìí kọ́ ló ń jẹ́ kí ẹ rí result ẹ̀ nínú Nàìjíríà o. Àwọn tó jẹ́ economics àwọn tó jẹ́ ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n bíi tiyín náà wọ́n ń wò yín o. Ẹ fẹ́ rectify problem tí Buhari ti dá sílẹ̀. Ṣé rí Buhari destroy Nigeria economy, Tinubu ló lọ forí kó Jankariwo. So nobody is going to pity Tinubu, but Tinubu ní òun ti assemble the best of the best. Ó gbé Cardoso jáde, ó gbé gbogbo wọn jáde. Ó ní àwọn máa make sure pé in tí Buhari bàjẹ́ yẹn àwọn máa revive ẹ̀ padà. Mo wá ní ha ṣé bàbá ìmọ̀ tó ń sọ ṣá. Let me go and look at this Ben Bruce yẹn ẹ jẹ́ n lọ sórí Twitter. Ó ní kankan tí Ben Bruce tó kọ mo fẹ́ kọ́kọ́ jẹ́ ká ka kìíní yẹn kí n tó wá play Mr. Wale Edun. Ben Bruce ó yá òun dà ó dà kún òun lélẹ̀ àwọn proxies dẹ̀ máa ń pọ̀ àkóńṣọ́ òun lélẹ̀ ń bọ̀ ẹja padà sẹ́yìn. Kí ni Twitter handle ẹ̀yẹn again? Ben Bruce. Okay, òun lélẹ̀ mo ti rí. Òun lélẹ̀ Ben Bruce yẹn lélẹ̀. Okay? Now, this is what he said. Everybody's excited about the P&ID, result. Tó jáde. Ẹ ṣé gan ni Pastor Mo. Thank you so much. Ìyá mi Olúṣọlá ní David wọ́n ní 4 years kẹ̀ Fulani will never let him run the second term. ká tẹ̀ sọ pé ó tẹ̀ rán ní second term náà ó máa padà lọ náà ni mo fẹ́ kájọ gbọ́n kan tí Ben Bruce sọ the naira mo láti máa mú naira yẹn kí n máa fi wọ̀nyí so since I ti lo eléyìí nísìn I can go live on the other side with this temporarily. I love people because ẹlòmíì tá a bá ní our live lórí KOIKIMEDIA Instagram ó dìgbà tá a bá start live fún Ọláyọmí Kóìkì kó tó mọ̀ pé our live so sometimes we have to manage them like that so ẹ jẹ́ ká that's it catch everybody níbi tá a bá ti lè catch wọn. Now this was Ben Bruce's post lánàá on the 23rd. Ó ti ní reaction of 249,000 views. Thank you, Mr. James Alabi. I am now talking from the perspective of àwọn ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n. A fẹ́ kí Tinubu kó ṣe dáadáa bí? No problem. But the concern is after Tinubu government tó tẹ̀ stabilize mo fẹ́ fi náírà yẹn wọ̀n wá àti dọ́là. Ẹ má bínú, ẹ mọ̀ pé ta ni mo wà so trying to manage. So ẹ ká gbélé báyìí. Okay, dọ́là dà. Náírà lélẹ̀ ìbò ni dọ́là wà. Kò dọ́là yẹn ó ń sáré bí àárọ̀ yìí nísìnyí owó yẹn ti di àná ìyàwó mi sọ pé owó yẹn is 1,450 láàárọ̀ yìí nísìnyí ó ti di 1,490 tó bá máa fi dọ́là bí àṣà máyégún mò ń gbọ́ máyégún general lánàá ó ní náírà yẹn bá òyìnbó òtẹ̀ lòún lò bí á náírà yẹn ń jó yóyó ní àbí nǹkan kan now owó nàìjíríà lélẹ̀ àbí this is our money 1,000 naira 500 naira lélẹ̀ mo kí ẹ̀gbọ́n mi ní France ẹ bá ń kí alájì dáadáa kọ́lọ́ndẹ̀ foríjì ọ̀nkú àtókù tó jẹ́ president Odùduwà ní France this is the dollar now Cardoso fẹ́ make sure pé àti Mr. Wale Edun they want to make sure that they stabilize Ben Bruce now is part of the people who ate àmọ́mọ́ yẹn mo mọ̀ dáadáa how you doing man you alright mo mọ̀ dáadáa but kátẹ̀ sì fi yẹn sílẹ̀ mọ́mì grandma the naira tá a bá sọ pé the naira owó yìí the naira will not rise even if Nigeria sells more crude oil. Not only are we not getting money from the present sales since Buhari government took the funds in advance, but we are also not an oil-rich nation. We are talking about 1.7 million barrels of oil per day to a population of over 200 million people. Okay, you're gonna pàdé ní ShopRite ní 2021. Mr. Coyote with Cynthia. Oh yes, I remember you. I remember. Kò ń ṣe 2021 o, ṣe 2021 ní ṣá àti bẹ̀rẹ̀ Yorùbá Nation nígbà yẹn. Tí bọ̀bọ́ yẹn ní injury kan lẹ́sẹ̀. Ṣebí Cynthia tó wà l'Amẹ́ríkà lẹ́ ń sọ. Woman tó ń ṣe nurse yẹn. Yeah, I remember you. I remember. Angola has just 15% of our population and produces more oil than we do. Stop looking at the oil for our salvation. If we don't persist in buying made in Nigerian goods and services, we will perish economically. Did you hear that? We will perish economically. Moki Big Banjo Egbon, how we fit make and better? Give your solution. Well, the solution is for us to wind down the country, bring down the constitution. All this is not going to happen within the next 4-8 years or whatever years. Bring down the constitution, allow the government today to force all these bombasted House of Assembly and everything. Bola Tinubu can stop the problem that we are facing today. And I have evidence to that. East Timor, the president of Indonesia spent 650 days, gave East Timor today, they are independent. We cannot survive in the Nigeria today We don't have to be big to be able to have a better life. Finland, as small as it is not up to 6 million. You will live up to 83 years in Finland. So the solution is for us to dissolve this contraction called Nigeria. Many of you do not want to accept that. You want to use the brain that Eledumare give you to fix Nigeria, which is what Mr. Wale Edun and Cardoso wants to do. They want to fix Nigeria. But you cannot fix Nigeria because Nigeria is unfixable. There's so much interference. I'm responding to somebody that says, make we forget oil, Joe. We discover oil was when our problem started. Well, it's not when our problem started after the amalgamation. All this we find oil was the problem. No. The West, I don't know where you are living from, whether you are in Nigeria or not, but regardless of that, it is the West, I want boy, I want British, I want to force the problem to what and face the oil. So it has nothing to do with the oil. It has nothing to do with that. What we are saying is that the problem started after we were not allowed to flourish as who we are, Tieledu Marida. And it's got to do with spiritual problem as well. And I'll give you why. I was talking about my program, Itimosheloruano, 2 o'clock. The former king of Belgium killed 10 million Africans. Spirit upset. So when some of us that are well educated program the man said, no, we will fix Nigeria. That is exactly what I'm explaining right now. Mr. Wale Edun is the finance minister. He wants to do his best under this administration of Bola Tinubu to stabilize this contraction money so that Boshen Sarebi yo-yo, call it reduce it there. Because the dollar is about 1,100 if it's not a little bit more. The pounds is about 1,490. Toma Mafi dollar is pounds might be 1,500. Omawa equivalent as at now. 10 naira any difference to what la the pound sterling. This is 1,005. So, but we expect the Yoruba brains to want to fix in Nigeria. You want to fix a country that is not fixable. There's too much interference in Nigeria from outside. The IMF, the World Bank, and they are using Nigeria as a project. Nigeria is a program until we resolve to talk about things that are affecting us. It is not okay. Ben Bruce is talking about, let's start, let me finish this and then I'll do a bit of analysis on this. He says that Angola has just 15% of our population and produces more oil than we do. Stop looking at oil for salvation. If we don't persist in buying made in Nigerian goods and services, how do you buy made in Nigerian goods and services when you do not have the system? You want to produce made in Nigeria. How? Where do you start from? Grandma Titi crowd has okay. Actually, Mr. Wale Edun is just pledging his loyalty. He knows it isn't possible. Bishop Adeshin only the dollar is 1,230. So you will buy $1. You will need not just 1,000 anymore. 500 ilori wawa fún to buy 500 wawa fún 270. That is the current situation today. But the reason why all these has persisted, let me take you back to memory lane. I will not use a particular country so that I don't kind of pin it on there. The West refused to allow Ajaokuta to work. Why do you think so? Ajaokuta working would have saved us from this dollar today. Somebody even says the dollar is 1,270. Let's even peg it at 1,300, 1,230. In Jemokwe, if we have been able to secure Ajaokuta as far back as in the 80s, today we will not be having problems with these dollar and naira. You know why? Because Ajaokuta will produce a lot of things that we are going to be using. Let me give you an example. This is a building. This building needs as many iron to be able to make it stand like this. some of these houses tẹ́ ń rí ilé tẹ́ ń wò ilé tó bá sọ ìgbà tó ti kọ́ fún ẹ wàá máa béèrè pé wow ó dẹ̀ sì stand by. All they do is they've changed the window because of the weather. They've used the double glazing. They've insulated it very well in terms of the boiler. What neighbor want change the boiler níjẹta iṣẹ́ gidi ló ṣe ní throughout the weekend because bí a boiler tó lò ó lè jẹ́ àwọn tó ti pẹ́ kò ló ti gbàlódé. So our problem today has been part of what the West created. So if you are now saying that in 2023, Mr. Wale Edun wants to fix Nigeria, you are not understanding what is about to happen. We must not try to fix Nigeria. We must be talking about the other way around. Bring down Nigeria. It can be done through so many ways. It has been done around the world. Nigeria will not be the first country to dissolve or break away. So when somebody like Ben Bruce is telling Nigerians that, don't worry, you think dollar is going to rise. It's not going to rise because you are not producing enough of what you are eating. Nijo Friday, Nibiba, I told you that 4,000 containers leave the offshore of Apapa as empty as empty. Koda safety pin. 4,000 containers. If I'm lying, go and find out yourself. Money tá bá fẹ́ gbé iṣu láti Nigeria wá sí Europe, on take 75 days láti kọ́kọ́ process ẹ̀ nínú Nigeria. Tissue yẹn máa fi kúrò ní bíbá tó máa fi dé Europe, 68% of it ti bàjẹ́. How do you make money from that? These are what should be giving Nigeria money. So, but many Nigerians are expecting that a lot of things will change. Baba mi Ono Adeola Fortune Michael Wani is America and UK doesn't want Ajaokuta to work. Some of you don't know the importance of Ajaokuta today. Go and listen and read a little bit more about Ajaokuta. Tó bá jẹ́ pé a rí Ajaokuta yẹn nìkan ṣe ní throughout gbogbo wàhálà Nigeria, lẹ́ni àní máa sọ̀rọ̀ nípa dọ́là. What do kí lẹ mí pé diversion ti pọ̀ jù Koiki? Focus please. Is this not part of the problem that we're talking about? Afegba Yoruba Nation. So àní sọ pé Yoruba Nation ta fegba yẹn, part of the problem is Nigeria. So I don't understand what you mean by pé ká focus. There's no way we can talk about Yoruba Nation without bringing the Nigerian problem as much as possible into it, so that we can be able to tell those that are hoping that we really do have a problem in Nigeria and don't fix it on. Yoruba Nation, forget about it. They are supposed to load people back with the container instead of going. That is not going to happen in the real world. Nigeria is not going to work. So many of you, stop dreaming, brother. Okay, no problem. Be minimum dream ni, be dream ni. We will wait and see. Most of you, next year, British government has invited African countries for a summit in April. In Nigeria, you will not get a visa for that same summit. You know why? Because even if you have the fund, even if you are doing very well in Nigeria, you are already being put as part of those japa. The British knows very well, and I still have that here. My presentation this morning. This is my laptop. It's never working, stop working. I've started. Now, most of we need that G. Why does the British want to make sure that they continue to have this cordial relationship between UK and African countries? It's not because of you and me. It's because of we, the citizens that are living here. And when I mean the citizen, I'm not talking about you that just have a visa to arrive in this country. You must have the right to live in this country before you can be called a citizen. Visa to find one, oh no, holiday, but most of us refuse to go back. 25 years, I am still in this country. So when we say that the UK, like I was explaining to you at the early hours of this morning, Ben Bruce is talking about, made in Nigeria. Even the British, as it is today, all the produce from British, from England, United Kingdom, China, China ni what in China, but the British are very good. You know why? Because 200 years they were running the empire. The British this country, you know, United Kingdom here, 200 years. So what they are like is what that be into man lemoyan. What in ní stake káàkiri gbogbo àgbáyé. The next World Commonwealth event every 2 years. The last one was in Kenya. Samoa ló ń gbé lọ. Mo tẹ̀ fẹ́ fi ṣe program. Àìtí sọ̀rọ̀ lé lórí. Samoa is somewhere around Australia. That is how far the British, as at the time during the colony, ibi tí wọ́n rìn dé nìyẹn. So today when we are saying that they are holding us back, wọ́n ní no, àwọn holding yín back o, ẹ̀bẹ̀ ilẹ̀ dìbò. Nígbà tá ní ká má dìbò, ẹni ẹ fẹ́ dìbò, termite, ẹ ṣe gan ni. Ó dàbí termite. Britain tẹ̀ ń rí bó ṣe dá tó termite ni wọ́n. Wọ́n dẹ̀ mọ̀ pé nǹkan máa change lọ́jọ́ iwájú, but they want to keep us together as much as they can. Àwa la máa sọ pé no, we want to have the right to self-determination, just like the Scottish people wants to do as well. Even Scotland better off, but they still want to have their own independent country, their own sovereignty. Let's talk about that quickly as a debrief, in case then you buy will program about the UK African Investment Summit. This is what they've done in 25 years. Tell me to Louis. Summit, Guinea Summit, Guinea Summit. Ṣé summit yẹn ṣó ní impact ní local government yẹn nílẹ̀ Yorùbá lẹ́nu? Mo kí Grandma Awoniyi. Ṣé summit tó ń ṣe ní UK ṣé ó dọ́dọ̀ tiẹ̀? Kò dọ́dọ̀ tiẹ̀, irọ́ ló ń pa. We have 191 local governments in Yoruba land today. Those local governments will never feel the impact of government for the next 40 years. Some of you might say it's because Rome was not built in one day. No, it's because the system that operates in Nigeria is a fraudulent system. The UK Prime Minister, hopefully will still be Rishi Sunak. Tá bá ti lè dànù. Ìlú ìyàwó máa ń lé wọn dànù ni. Tí pressure bá pọ̀ ní sin ó máa resign. But for now, it is Rishi Sunak. We'll host the UK Africa Investment Summit on the 23rd, the 24th of April 2024. Mo fún ẹ ní opportunity tó pé ó fẹ́ wá fún summit lọ apply for visa tó bá wà Nigeria tó bá máa fún ẹ. Wọ́n ní no lọ wo lórí KOIKIMEDIA àbí kó wo lórí BBC. Whereas àwọn ọmọ tó wà ní Europe, àwọn European countries tó yẹ pé they are not even up to one of our state ní Ondo state. Àwọn akọ̀wọ̀ train wá fún the same summit. Mo ti fún ẹ ní heads up nísìn lọ apply fún visa pé o fẹ́ wá fún summit kan tó fẹ́ ṣe tó involve Africa as a Commonwealth citizen. Kò tó add the Commonwealth citizen mọ́. Wọ́n mọ̀ pé irọ́ ló ń pa economy Nigeria ti wà in depression. Ó fi sá lọ ni. Wọ́n ní is going to strengthen the UK-African partnership. What do you expect the British government to tell you anyway? They want us to have a cordial relationship, good partnership together. It is going to create jobs and growth. Ta ló fẹ́ create iṣẹ́ fún? Is it going to create job for you? Do you think that this African summit of next year, do you think that is going to create a job for you? Mr. Kayode sọ pé economy in Nigeria ó ti wà in depression. Only student brings money through visa. Mo sọ fún yín pé business center ni àwọn university nílùú yìí. Gbà mí gbàbí. Business center ni wọ́n. Wọ́n need as many students ní Nigeria kẹ́ convert naira tẹ́ níyẹn kẹ́ wá fi sanwó student ní bíbá as a visa. Tó bá yẹ pé stability wà Nigeria ni. Oh yes, ìyẹn lè wá ṣe masters ní bíbá kó ṣe PhD kó padà. Kò ń ṣe dandan ni pé ká wá máa ṣe first degree wá ní UK. Tó bá jẹ́ pé Ọbáfẹ́mi Awólọ́wọ̀ University ó wà top notch. Tó bá jẹ́ pé University of Ibadan, Nsukka, Ahmadu Bello, why do we want to come and do a first degree that is going to cost you nothing less than 53 million naira? That is the cheapest. Kò tí sówó oúnjẹ, kò tí sówó ilé níbẹ̀. Ó fẹ́ máa farawé àwọn aunty ẹ̀ tó ti ń gbé labroad. Wà ìlú ìlú máa mọ̀ pé tó bá dé ìlú yìí after 6 months ní ilé tó ń gbé yẹn wọ́n ní kó lọ gbalé. O lè máa gbé pẹ̀lú àwọn, especially tó bá jẹ́ pé ilé tó ń gbé wọ́n láwọn ọmọ kéékèèké níbẹ̀. Tó bá tẹ̀tú wá lọ jẹ́ pé ilé tó ń gbé tó tún náà àwọn other factors tí ó yá àwọn tó wà ní UK. 6 months wọ́n máa ní kó lọ gbalé. Family friend wa kan wà around nísìn tó yẹ pé ìlú ìlú ó ṣẹ̀dé ni òun ní COS kódà mú láti lọ bá béèrè lọ́wọ́ àwọn agency ó fi gbalé ìlú yóò dàbí Nàìjíríà o ẹ̀jẹ̀ lọ gbé pẹ̀lú ẹ̀gbọ́n mi kan ó lẹ́gbọ́n ní bíbà ó ní àbúrò ní bíbà ó ní sísítà ní bíbà ó máa lọ gbalé ni àwọn òde ń gbèrú lifestyle yẹn ní Nàìjíríà nílẹ̀ Yorùbá mo ń sọ fún tani mo ń bá sọ̀rọ̀ láàárọ̀ ẹ̀ ó dà ń pé Aláwù Bàbá èmi àti Aláwù Bàbá mo mọ̀ bí ó wà lórí mixella over 20 minutes mo fi bá sọ̀rọ̀ láàárọ̀ ẹ̀ Nàìjíríà gan nísìn èèyàn mélòó ló fẹ́ ló máa ní ẹni káàbúrò mi wá gbé pẹ̀lú mi mo kí ẹ dizzy man ó ní economy condition is getting worse on a daily basis a 50 bag of rice is now 64,000 naira today kò tí ì sówó ẹran níbẹ̀ mo ń gbọ́ pé nìbàdàn lé ní wọ́n náà àwọn ẹlẹ́jà ń strike àbí wọ́n protest dẹni. All this problem is an interference from the outside world. If we have built Ajaokuta to the standard tó ń ṣiṣẹ́ tó ń function ní máa sọ̀rọ̀ nípa forex lẹ́nìí because àwa náà máa tajà síta tó bá wá gbé ní UK ní bíbá o lè gbé lọ́dọ̀ anybody after 6 months wọ́n máa lé ẹ jáde o máa lọ gbalé tiẹ̀ ẹni tí mò ń sọ iṣẹ́ gbogbo tó dé nísìn kò tí pé 4 months ó ní ẹ̀gbọ́n ní bíbá ó gbọ́dọ̀ lọ gbalé tiẹ̀ ni they are not going to live together they are not going to live together it's just for temporary alone. But lọ́dọ̀ tiwa èèyàn mélòó nísìn lẹ máa ní àbúrò mi lẹ jẹ́ kó wá gbé pẹ̀lú mi ẹ mọ̀ pé tẹ́lẹ̀ this is what we do irú àwọn ọmọ sí tiwa nísìn àìmọye àwọn tí wọ́n tọ́ dàgbà tọ́ dàbí àmà àǹtí mi I'm sure a lot of you understand that how many people ló lè ṣe yẹn nísìn especially with the problem of the economic situation because for every àgbàlagbà tó bá wá gbé pẹ̀lú ẹ ó máa jẹ double ju àwọn ọmọ kéékèèké tó wà nílé lọ so tẹ́ bá ṣe rice òun máa jẹ ju àwọn ọmọ yín tẹ́ gbé nínú ilé lọ so nobody wants to have anybody to come and live with them. I don't need to watch those kind of people because they are not part of the movement anymore. Èmi ní time mo ní ṣé mi tí mo busy tí mo ń ṣe research máa lọ jókòó máa lọ gbọ́ ìyàn kan ṣe program. I'm sorry. So now let's come back here again. So wọ́n ní ó máa create jobs àti growth. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni diaspora is a cowboy life. Ẹlòmíì ibi tó ń gbé I mean tó bá ti settle down dáadáa tó ti ń bímọ oh yes definitely o lè expand there but ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ṣe dé yẹn ẹ máa tidy up there má fara wé àwa tá ti wà nínú ilé tipẹ́ bá má lọ síbi iṣẹ́ ìyàwó mi ti lọ síbi iṣẹ́ rí ṣe èmi ò bá máa ṣiṣẹ́ freelance lèmi èmi náà ti fa gbùrù dáadáa for 25 years tó bá lọ fara wá irú àwa tó ṣe ń dé tó o bá ní bus pass nílùú tó bá bí ẹ dá wọnú bus tó bá bí ẹ ó mọ̀ pé ojú ẹlẹ́gbàá ó sì lè ṣe pé mo ò lówó mọ́tò kó jà káwọn kan bẹ́ẹ̀ sanwó wọn bá yàn sanwó mọ́tò nílùú yìí o bí alẹ́ nǹkan kan ẹni tó bá wọlé tó bá touch tí kìíní yàn lọ tí driver yẹn fẹ́ máa play funny I will pay for her I'll pay you can sit down wà wá fi káàdì tiẹ̀ wà fi touch o ti bá sanwó nìyẹn but ìyẹn rí ẹ̀ wọn bá yàn sanwó mọ́tò nílùú yìí o mo ti lẹ́ni tó gbé lọ sí Nàìjíríà padà torí pé kò sanwó train pass mo ní cousin mi kan ó náà rẹ̀ kan in tó máa ń jọ tọ́jú ìjà gidi ni mo ń sọ yìí ọ̀rọ̀ tí mo ń sọ ibi 20 tọ́ba jọ fẹ́ jáde bá á dẹ̀ máa lẹ̀ mọ́ tọ́ba fẹ́ wọ train àwọn ọmọ ní sùúrù náà má máa jẹ́ ká máa ṣe yẹn náà and especially àwọn tọ́ba ń padán ó ti yẹ kí n má fi gbẹnu sọ̀rọ̀ ìdán wà lára wọn wọ́n á tún máa fẹ́ kò ní fẹ́ sanwó train cousin mi ẹ̀ ló máa ní bẹ́ẹ̀ ló ṣe ń ṣe báyìí nígbà tá a bá jọ wọlé tó sanwó train ìlú Ìkẹrì ó lè mọ ẹni tó jẹ́ CID lè tẹ̀lé ẹ látòrí platform kẹjọ wọ train á tẹ̀lé ẹ débi tó ń lọ á dẹ̀ máa padà lọ á dẹ̀ kọ reporter á dẹ̀ gbé fẹ́ lómi kò dàbí Nàìjíríà because Nàìjíríà ò ní that kind of database. So Mr. Koiki, well done. UK African Summit is a protect UK. Mo ṣe ń bọ̀ níbẹ̀ ń kánjú ní àbẹ̀ tí wo program tí mo ṣe ní ìdájí ẹ mọ̀ pé kò ń ṣe gbogbo ẹ̀ ló wò 2 hours ní kò pọ̀ jù ẹ lè lọ wo tí bá ti parí ẹ̀. So kí ni UK African Summit fẹ́ mú jáde ẹ máa rántí pé UK ti kúrò lára European Union so they need everything to continue to sustain in Africa and UK ni mo mọ̀ pé wọ́n wà very very àrékèrèkè àwọn ọmọ bó ṣe ó yé yín bó ṣe da tó tá à ń gbé níbí báyìí tó ń tọ́jú wa bẹ́ẹ̀ ni wọ́n ní lọ́wọ́ o So wọ́n ní April ní event máa wáyé very crafty òyìnbó tẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ ní ṣe gan ni èyí náà máa rán wa létí dábàá ìyá mi Queen Momo ni I miss your program àmọ́ ti ṣe kan láàárọ̀ yìí ní 2 o'clock títí dago mẹ́rin 2 hours second program tá à ń ṣe lé nìní a máa padà sórí Star Radio hopefully by next week àwọn ọmọ yẹn wà lọ́lídé and there's a lot of other things factors as well so yẹn lè ṣe rí wa lórí Star Radio mo kí grandma Felicia Jagbe Don Samuel ní Naija na scam but many Nigerians will believe pé scam ni because Mr. Wale Edun a ṣe máa padà sórí ẹ̀ wọ́n náà fẹ́ fix Nigeria on our behalf bó ṣe fẹ́ ṣe I don't know but I'm going to tell you about that ẹ jẹ́ ká parí lórí ti UK yìí so the UK African Investment Summit 2024 will bring together political business leaders inú ẹ̀ lẹ́ máa ti rí Ọ̀tẹ́dọ́lá inú ẹ̀ lẹ́ ti máa rí kíni tó ní UBA yẹn tó ní Elémelu inú ẹ̀ lẹ́ ti máa rí Bọ́lá Ṣàgáyà ẹ máa rí gbogbo wọn tó máa dé suit inú ẹ̀ lẹ́ ti máa rí Ọkọ́yà gbogbo wọn máa wá àwọn business guru Yorùbáland àti tilẹ̀ Yíbò àti tàwùsá ẹ̀rí Dangote irú àwọn tó ń fẹ́ nìyẹn wọ́n fẹ́ irú wọ́ fẹ́ wọ́ bàbá mi Kọ́láwọlé ní Wálé Ẹdún just have a sweet mouth àá ṣì máa play video ẹ̀ mo fẹ́ break ẹ mọ̀ pé à ń lọ láti ibìkan sí ibìkan ni but we are still doing very well with our timing. Àwọn olúwo ló invite wọ́n ní representative of international and regional organization what country is coming gbogbo ìlú tí bá dárúkọ yìí these are the countries that UK has a very very special relationship with. Not that the UK cannot allow Nigeria to fall apart, but the longer that we want to keep it, that is our problem. Taba dissolve, we will still have a cordial relationship with UK. I want to have a Yoruba embassy, just as I want to see the Biafra embassy in UK and the Arewa embassy. Yes, all these things might be like, Koiki ṣe gbogbo tẹ́ ń sọ ìṣàṣẹ́ fi pé reality kìíní lè work. Well, at least ní 25 years tí mo ti gbé nílùú yìí, ìlú mẹ́ta wọ́n ti gba country, kò dẹ̀ ń ṣe jọ́ kan ló bẹ̀rẹ̀. South Sudan, Macedonia, àti East Timor. Ẹ lọ Google ẹ̀. Ìlú mẹ́ta in my 25 years ní UK ló ti wà independent. So wá mọ̀ pé East Timor yẹn, East Timor tó ń pè ní Timorians, àwọn náà dàbí Nàìjíríà nígbà yẹn tó ń wá sí ìlú ìtò ní divisa. Ọmọ East Timor lè má ownership is still a poor country, wọ́n ṣì ń struggle, but tó bá lè rówó visa, owó ticket, tó bá dé bíbá wọ́n máa stamp ẹ̀, ó lè lo 180 days nílùú ìkó padà. Àwa táwa jẹ́ the best of the British as a friend, Commonwealth, àti wá kéèyàn gan nílùú yìí, ó dàbí ìgbà tí problem yẹn ti pọ̀ jù. So, ànírà àwọn táwa ní bíbá ìta jẹ́ àwọn tó ń ṣe business, tó jẹ́ àwọn Nigerians, àwọn sì fẹ́ kí Nàìjíríà kó máa exist because ibi báyìí làwọn ti ń operate. Mo ní dárúkọ company yẹn, but mo ti dárúkọ wọn rí, ó máa yá àwọn kan. Ibi tó ti ń ṣe plantain crips wọn kò ń ṣe Nàìjíríà. Kò ń ṣe pé wọ́n sọ fún mi, mo ti lọ bá wọn offload container tó dé. Kò síṣẹ́ tèmi ò lè ṣe níbẹ̀ tó bá ti ń ṣe legal. Tí bá wà lẹ́nu iṣẹ́ òní mọ̀ pé mi gan ni. Mo ti container tó máa ń kọ́ pè mí tí container wọn bá ti dé. Èmi náà oyè yín èmi náà wà okay staff member lèmi and I'm also their brand ambassador. Plantain crips wọn àwọn ọmọ yìí like ẹ̀, gbogbo household ní UK ló like ẹ̀. Kò ń ṣe inú Nàìjíríà ló ti ń ṣe. Tó bá jẹ́ pé Nàìjíríà ló ti ń ṣe ni, that is a revenue for the Nigerian government. And at least in a month, container tó máa dé afẹ́ tó ájú márùn-ún lọ. Because wọ́n supply káàkiri ní gbogbo UK títí dé outside London. Àwọn tó mọ orúkọ company yẹn wọ́n mọ̀ bọ́ mo ní dárúkọ ẹ̀. Àwọn ìlú wo ni ó ń bọ̀ fún summit yìí? Wọ́n ní Algeria ń bọ̀, Angola ń bọ̀, Botswana ń bọ̀, Cameroon ń bọ̀, Cote d'Ivoire ń bọ̀, Democratic Republic of Congo ń bọ̀, Egypt ń bọ̀, Ethiopia ń bọ̀, Ghana ń bọ̀, Kenya, Malawi, Mauritania, Mauritius, Morocco, Mozambique, Namibia àti ìlú mùjẹ̀mùjẹ̀ tẹ́ ń pè Nàìjíríà. Rwanda, Senegal, Sierra Leone, South Africa, Tanzania, Tunisia, Uganda, Zambia. Tí Yorùbá country bá wà lára ẹ̀ kò tí pọ̀ jù. And don't let them fool you and say àti Mike Adenuga bẹ́ẹ̀ ni àwọn olówó Glo nìyẹn Globacom àwọn yẹn ti Babangida ti sort àwọn yẹn out àìlòmíì náà ní sí wá kí Tinubu sort wọn out àwọn náà fẹ́ dolówó wọ́n fẹ́ máa di big man kọ́ máa ra private ẹlòmíì fẹ́ ra private jet kọ́ ló ń jẹ́ rírà nígbà tí Tinubu wà níbẹ̀ o ìjọba Tinubu á gbẹ̀yìn o. How is Nigerian government going to support business? You don't have a government. But Mr. Wale Edun wants to fix Nigeria. I'm going to play a video in a minute. And I'm sure he will be coming for this kind of event. I don't know when the president will be getting a state visit. But like I said, we must be preparing to hold our own rally. Koto Dipe Tinubu Mawafun state visit. I've talked about that. So the UK, according to the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development World Investment Report 2023, the United Kingdom, Timowa Ninwe, is the largest holder of foreign assets in Africa. The largest foreign asset in Africa, UK ló ní lọ́wọ́. Ìwà rò pé wàá kàn ní kí ni bọ̀bọ́ yìí sọ lójoojúmọ́ yìí? Ó fẹ́ máa ṣe àwọn èèyàn lọ́kàn kúrò lára Nàìjíríà. No. Ẹ lọ dìbò. Ṣèbí nǹkan tí Katrina Lang sọ fún yín nìyẹn. Ìbò ló wà nísìn, wọ́n tún move ẹ̀ lọ síbòmíì. The new High Commissioner tó wà níbẹ̀, Dr. Richard Montegori. Katrina Lang, Katrina baby, ẹ ṣàrántí baby yẹn. Kùkùté. UK is the largest holder of foreign assets in Africa. Ẹ ṣé gan ni ẹ̀yin tẹ́ fún wa ní Rose, thank you so much. Ìyá Odua. Ṣé Ìyá Odua kan náà ti Manchester? Ìyá Odua ọ̀run ti orin yẹn tó ṣe fún wa nígbà yẹn. So the UK has a unique position. Thank you, Koiki. I want to suggest Yoruba Nation should send a delegate for the business summit using the UNPO document. We can participate. Well, let's hope the YSDM will pick on that. Ifaloke Ogbeyong Eshegoni. Thank you so much, everyone that is watching us. The UK has a unique position as a global financial hub. Ibi by any financial hub. America gone more. Okay, America máa ń fẹ́ ṣe bí àgbàlagbà. Ó máa ń fẹ́ Eshegoni, Mr. Saeed Ade for the rules as well that you're giving us. Thank you so much. The UK has a unique position as a global financial hub, leading investor in the continent and the covering power. The UK African Investment Summit 2024, we use this to secure. Secure. So if you are saying that you want us to keep Nigeria, no problem. The UK wants to do that event next year, April, to secure mutually beneficial major investment into African countries. Kílẹ̀ rò pé ń díjà sílẹ̀ between Niger àti France. Wọ́n fẹ́ gba bẹ́ẹ̀ ni London, Paris, New York. City mẹ́tẹ̀ẹ̀ta yẹn ilé owó ni. Àwa tá jẹ́ ọmọ Yorùbá tá wà níbí báyìí, aláwọn Yorùbá tó yẹ pé they are doing very well in those financial sector. But in reality, Uber, health sector, businesses kékèké ni púpọ̀ ní wọ́n ń ṣe nílùú yìí. Kò ṣe pé kò sáwọn ọmọ Nigerians tó wà nínú financial hub tó ń jẹ owó gidi tó yẹ pé wọ́n lè ra champagne £3,000. Gbogbo insurance tá à ń rà, gbogbo kìíní tá à ń rà yẹn is part of it. Àwọn kan ló ń control, especially when it comes to the gas. Europe will lose gas lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ because ìjà wà láàrin Russia àti Europe. Àti ṣàlàyé fún yín tẹ́lẹ̀. So wọ́n need the Nigeria láti gbé gáàsì bọ́ta. Niger dẹ̀ ti block already. Mo dẹ̀ gbọ́ pé wọ́n ní mo mọ̀ bí Bọ́lá Tinubu ni bọ̀ wọ́n ní wọ́n fẹ́ kidnap àbọ̀ fẹ́ gbé Bazoum. Ẹ bàgbọ́ ìgbọ́ kankan mọ́ nípa Niger nísìn ọ̀rọ̀ Israel ti overshadow news. Ẹ̀gbọ́n kankan mọ́ nípa Russia wọ́n wá náà fẹ́ lọ gbé Bazoum jáde wọ́n fẹ́ gbé through back door but wọ́n ti kíkẹ̀ mọ́lẹ̀. So there is still issue between us. Ṣé mọ̀ pé Buhari ṣe investment lọ síbẹ̀ real project $2 billion àwa la máa sanwó yẹn. Some of you might be asking that okay Mr. Koiki tá bá wá pín báwo la ṣe máa sort gbogbo loans gbogbo assets. Kí ló ń pè ní asset? Asset táwa ní a mọ̀, asset táwọn Igbo ní wọ́n mọ̀, asset tí Yorùbá ní wọ́n mọ̀. Ìyẹn la ṣe ń sọ pé we must start having a shadow government. Ká máa prepare pé okay asset tó wà ní Nàìjíríà nísìn ní southwest I'm sure pé àwọn kìíní máa ní that kind of template àwọn tó ń pè ní done a máa negotiate gbogbo asset ni ìyàn kan ní the big bang is coming soonest. Well, I have no doubt. We don't want to have a bloody civil war, but the likely that there will be a bloody civil war is on rapture díẹ̀ ni àfi tá bá ń parọ́ fúnra wa. So in the long run, before we move away from here, the UK needs that summit to reassure those African partners that we are still in business. They need that summit to continue to say that, look, táwọn ọmọ ìlú yìí bá ń pariwo ẹ kò sọ fún wọn pé everything will be fine. Ó dà pé Syria ló ń kọ́ ló ṣe election láìpẹ́ yìí. Ìyàn kan ní how I wish Yoruba youth watch your program. Well, I hope so as well. Wọ́n ṣà ń gbọ́ Ṣeun Ọ̀kínbalóyè. Wọ́n ní láti gbọ́ tèmi because Ṣeun Ọ̀kínbalóyè is working for Nigeria. He's not working for Yoruba nation. And he's a good friend of mine. And he's doing very well. So they need to secure the mutual beneficial major investment into African countries. Facilitate two-way trade and investment. Not that we will not have trade with any country. We are not going to be like North Korea. North Korea Lowa is an hostile country. Awashi máa ní cordial relationship, but as an independent sovereign nation, not under Nigeria. The first thing, because when I speak English, I'm not communicating to you alone. This is a media platform. I'm communicating to the international community. I'm not talking to you alone. So when I speak in English, I speak in English because I'm communicating. I have a lot of foreigners that are watching me. I have a lot of my media colleagues. But she meeting on Monday. These are the people that I'm reporting Nigeria to on a daily basis. And they must understand what I'm talking about sometimes. Even though I'm not any language to what I can communicate. And don't expect Tinubu to give you a regional government. Don't expect even Tinubu to give you a full autonomy of state police. Tinubu bari state police ṣe edekajo kosile. State police lásán because only láti lọ sí house, only láti gba house àti senate àti red chamber àti black chamber yín ní Abuja. Tinubu cannot just say òun fún yín ní state police. And àwọn northern ló pọ̀ jù ní senate, àwọn ló pọ̀ jù ní house. Bí I torí ènìyàn kan ṣe sọ fún mi lánàá pé àbíjẹ tata ṣe program pé I need more local government. Kí Tinubu dẹ̀ fún wa ní more state, but ká ṣe máa fẹ́ Yorùbá nation. So, support policies, reforms that boost a long-term prospect for investment. Eshegoni Yami Yeti Queen, thank you so much for the other day. We appreciate every one of you that continue to support the platform through prayer, through advice. If you have a question, you can always send it to me at info@koikimedia.com. info@koikimedia in one word. Or you can send it through my private email, musakalam@gmail.com. Or you can go on my website and you can write a comment and it will come to me automatically. The summit we built on the result of the UK African Investment Summit that took place in 2020, Igba COVID, and that was a virtual conference. In 2021 and last year, the 2020 summit marked an important milestone in our partnership with African countries where over 6.5 billion pounds of deals were made. Did you get that? In 2020, summit tó ṣe yẹn nígbà COVID, wọ́n sọ fún wa nísìn pé it brought about 6.5 billion and it is highlighted, so I can click on that. So when I look, again, your charger is closed. Let me put this now, when you look at this article, it says the UK African Investment Summit commercial deals, a summary of 27 commercial deals worth 6.5 billion from across the African market invited to the UK African Investment Summit. This was in 2020. We announced 27 deals worth 6.5 billion from across the African market invited to this summit, and we are aware of further UK commercial investment into Africa that will be committed at the summit. The diverse and the fast-growing economy of Africa offer a huge potential to the UK businesses. Over 36 billion pounds worth of trade is already happening between UK and Africa. Èwo ni wọ́n rí jẹ níbẹ̀? Because tó bá jẹ́ pé irú trade yẹn lọ lóòótọ́ ni, ó jẹ́ kí mo lè gbé iṣu wá láti Nàìjíríà wá sí bíbá. Even if the UK is trying to make the deal to work, but you have a country like Olori Buruku called Nigeria that is not allowing it to function. There are so many businesses that we can do from Nigeria to UK, but when there's so much nonsense system, and it's all because tó bá ti di pé wọ́n náà di olówó. Ní China, they have a statistics of how many people can become a millionaire within a year. Èèyàn mélòó ló di olówó ní Nigeria nígbà tí Buhari wà níbẹ̀? How many average Nigerians ló di olówó tá lè sọ pé ẹni yìí ní is a millionaire? Tó ń ṣe pé owó yahoo yahoo o, tó ń ṣe owó drug o, tó ń ṣe owó ẹgbẹ́ orí èèyàn. Èmi ò mọ bá ṣe ń fi orí èèyàn tẹ́ fi ń ṣòwò. I'm talking about pé business to business. Your KOIKIMEDIA at Yoruba home because your background looks like it. Àwọn bó ṣe ń call it one here. You're going?
Yes.
All right, take care. Call me when you get home. So, going further. So, when we talk about these deals, ṣé rí gbogbo àwọn tó ń sọ yìí, normally, ibi tó yẹ kí àwa tá wà labroad, àwa máa lọ ṣe vetting. Okay, irú deal wo ni wọ́n fẹ́ ṣe pẹ̀lú Nàìjíríà? Táwa náà lè tap into it. Èmi àwa pẹ̀ tó wà nílé pé Mr. Alágbájá, mo ti lọ sí summit o. I've attended so much summit. Fàbú ló wà ní gbogbo, especially táwọn tó máa ń ṣe táwọn ní Nigerian summit kìíní. Wọ́n kàn fi ń ṣe kí wọ́n fi ń transact oyè yín. Èmi náà ti pẹ́ nílùú yìí. Gbogbo summit tó náà ń ṣe nílùú tèmi ti délùú yìí o. Èmi ò tí rí impact ẹ̀ nílé. Owó dẹ̀ ń lọ ń bọ̀. Ọ̀yọ́ state governor Ṣèyí Mákindé ó ṣẹ̀ wá ṣe summit kan ní London ni. Wọ́n á gba hòtẹ́ẹ̀lì. Wọ́n á pa àwọn òyìnbó. Àwọn ẹ̀wọ̀n kan táwọn ẹnu iná ẹ ṣe gan ni fún ẹ̀gbọ́n mi Rúgì. Wọ́n fún mi ní love sign. Ó dà pé yẹn owó yẹn máa ń pọ̀ àbí ẹ ṣe gan ni. Ṣèyí Mákindé wá ṣe summit. Tó bá dẹ̀ ti ṣọ́ ẹ̀ ní Ìbàdàn pẹ̀lú àwọn òyìnbó. Ẹ̀wọ̀n kún náà àwọn yẹn máa ń dùn. Òyìnbó pẹpẹ. Wọ́n á tún gbé olóṣó gidi. Àwọn ọ̀tẹ̀ ní láti gbé olóṣó àwọn màmá kan wà London. Iṣẹ́ táwọn máa ń ṣe nìyẹn. Àwọn ọlọ́bì kọ̀ọ̀kan politician tó fẹ́ wọlé dé tó máa dáná fún tó máa sata sí lẹ́nu tó dẹ̀ máa wà lórí bed. Ìyàn kan ní Mr. Koiki, Indians are in charge in Nigeria. I have no doubt about that. Eléyìí ti kú. iPad ó ti try. Ó ti gbé mi lọ. Látẹ̀ nǹkan. How many hours láti ṣe? Ká ti máa wind down. Mo tẹ̀ wá tètè rí ṣá pé alright, I started láti bíbá. Torí àwọn èèyàn máa bínú pé Koiki ó ti wá yọ wá kúrò ní setting àrí nǹkan kan mọ́ báyìí. So anyway, to wrap it up, as we are saying, let us understand that we are on the right track when it comes to the Yoruba Nation campaign. We need to educate many people. We need to tell you the truth and nothing but the truth. We need to be consistent, and we must not deviate from what we are doing. Many of you might disagree with us that Mama play while you're doing anything in a minute. My first start because Facebook meeting auto shut down because iPad anymore. So I'm just gonna start it. So like I can go live. So one my manager, my call be CB by. So I get my manager. So all right. So that we're able to still at least follow the program. So kí ni mo fẹ́ fààyàn bẹ́ẹ̀ ni pé we must not give up at this stage. We must remain firm and adamant pé Yorùbá Nation la fẹ́. Ẹ má bínú ẹ tẹ́ wà níbí bá mo ní láti stop eléyìí máa padà wá lórí ẹ̀ later. Mo fẹ́ play Mr. Wale Edun. Ẹ má bínú ẹ lọ sórí KOIKIMEDIA. I am live there on Instagram. And if not, get us on that platform. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 platforms. Mo fẹ́ fi phone, mo fẹ́ fi ṣe plenty Wale Edun so Lenny. Thank you so much. So let's switch on the speaker, and then we can then start preparing to wind down as well. Mo kí gbogbo alẹ́ kan sí. Mr. Wale Edun you want to fix Nigeria. Abibeko, no problem. We are wishing you the best of luck. So, Ede Kagbon Koto Soni Biba. So, Ede Kagbon Koto Son.
So, how long do I have?
2 minutes.
No, I was programming, but this was 6 hours ago.
Say that 30 years ago, I was here. I was very optimistic.
Because loud
heads here. And those who are not here, Mr. Dr. Suleiman is here, along with the likes of the young people then, in the early 30s, who this country did very well by. The Atidop Peter sides, the Ola Adeolas, the Gwenga Oyebodis, and so on and so forth. And we're very optimistic. And we heard pretty much what we have heard today. But there's a missing ingredient. Just like for the Spanish football team up till about 2010, when they won the World Cup, there was a missing ingredient. They had everything, the talent, and so on and so forth. I think the missing ingredient for us was a certain type of leadership. And I think you heard earlier today that this may very well be the leader that can bring us all together and take this country forward.
It's a good argument, but Tinubu is the leader that can take us out of the mess in Nigeria. But Tinubu ni wanibe forever. That is one thing. Fefe Mike Sibiba so that Kole pick that. It's because of the wind and all that. Yeah. Mr. Wale Edun is saying that Tinubu is the best leader at this time that can pull and make Nigeria to work. Nobody argues. But Mr. Wale Edun, will you be retained after Tinubu has left with all the structure, the policies to make Nigeria to work? Or are we going to get another government that will come in? Kó lọ jẹ́ pé irú PDP ló wọlé àbí Labour Party gbogbo wàhálà tó bá ṣe wọn ní follow ẹ̀ kódà nígbà yẹn gan ẹ ṣé gan ni ìyá mi Yeti Queen, thank you so much and I say thank you, we appreciate. So we are not here to condemn Mr. Wale Edun, but we are saying that Mr. Wale Edun, all these you are trying to do, Ọlọ́run ti fún yín ní talent, ẹ ti kàwé dáadáa, I mean, why are you trying to fix something that eventually somebody else will come? Tí PDP bá dé, kódà Ọlọ́run má jẹ́ kó probe Wale Edun gan, òun gan á fẹ́ sá kúrò Nàìjíríà. Even though pé tó bá jẹ́ kó ṣe dáadáa. Ṣebí torí pé APC ṣe APC nísìn, ẹ wo tí Tinubu ṣe pẹ̀lú Emefiele lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́. Ẹ wá imagine tí another government bá dé. So ẹ̀yin tí ẹ ń support wọn, ní kẹ́ má support wọn. Yes, Nigeria ò tí pín now. So èmi ò lè fún yín lówó, so government láti ṣe in tó máa jẹ́ kí ẹ rí oúnjẹ jẹ, ó máa láti ṣe tí ayé yín máa fi wà stable, tí Nàìjíríà máa fi pín. But tí ìjọba yìí bá parí ẹ̀, tí Wale Edun, bàbá Wale, rántí ní ká má pín bàbá, Mr. Wale Edun, brilliant, very good, he knows what he's talking about. Ó tún gbé Kàdósò wọlé, ẹja máa gbọ́ lọ.
I also want to thank the Economic Summit team, particularly the likes of Ijoma Taylor, Soyade Okoli, who determinedly pushed and pushed to make sure that Mr. President was in a position to have enough information to keep his promise. It's not easy.
Okay, with my analysis there, only Mr. President has a lot of good things to keep him informed. She will keep Buhari informed. Buhari was kept informed, but Buhari had a different agenda for Nigeria. Tinubu has an agenda to fix Nigeria. But the same àwọn mala tí Tinubu gbà kúrò lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ torí àbókí mala ni wèrè Buhari, ọmọ Fúlàní gidi ni. Buhari's father is from Niger. Ìyá ẹ̀ gangan ọmọ Katsina. Ìyẹn ló ṣe gbé gbogbo investment lọ sí Niger. Kò mọ̀ pé kù máa wáyé ní Niger.
Then I think they did very, very well. I just did my job. I can't imagine being here and I didn't deliver the president and facing you all. So it was the fear of that propelled me. In terms of the economy, the priority areas are there and they all boil down to improving livelihoods, delivering economic outcomes.
Improving livelihood. Kí lèmi need, kí lẹ́yìn need. Tí bá wọnú lé nísìn, mo fẹ́ make sure pé mo ní heating. Torí tó bá tutù, a gbọ́dọ̀ tán heater. Ìbò láti fẹ́ rí gas tá fẹ́ lò. Ìwọ̀nba díẹ̀ ní Scotland ní. Scotland doesn't have enough gas. Scotland does not have enough gas. So wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ import gas yẹn wá sí ìlú yìí. Now, ìbò lọ ti import gas wá. Mo kàn fún yín ní how the trade tí UK ń sọ̀rọ̀ lẹ́ẹ̀kan. This is how the trade works. So they need the gas from another country tó ní lọ́wọ́ tó pọ̀. Ìlú wo ló ní tó ní gas púpọ̀ jù? Russia. Russia has gas tó wà ní Russia kò ṣe kékeré. But ìjà ti wà láàrin West àti Russia. So now West gbọ́dọ̀ máa ronú ní kíákíá. Ìbò láti fẹ́ máa tap gas. Àwọn olótú ní gas tó pọ̀ jù. Nigeria. Pipe lọ́kàn fi lé. Wọ́n máa lé pipe yẹn láti Nigeria. Àwọn wo níbo ni gas yẹn pọ̀ sí jù? Òkè Ọya lọ́dọ̀ àwọn Igbo lọ́hùn. And these are the people that you are marginalizing. So you can see that, you know, Nigeria is like a pressure cooker. Tí gbogbo wa can manage and deceive ara wa. So let's go back to Wale Edu. So again, it's talking about making your life better. Tẹ́ bá tẹ́ lè jẹ 3 square meal. I expect you to eat 2 square meal and live a better life. Kó tó di pé Tinubu government máa ṣe tán. Tí Tinubu government máa fi ṣe tán, tí life yóò change, then gbogbo tí Wale Edu ṣe is a waste of time. Because the next government coming will do worst. Ẹ jẹ́ ká padà sórí in tó ń sọ̀rọ̀ lé lórí. Ẹ̀gbọ́n sókè, Mr. Wale Edu.
Delivering economic outcomes.
Delivering economic outcomes.
The human resources aspect, and of course,
we have the human resources. Human resources, lọ́fíìn jẹun láyé yìí nísìn. It is called the human resources. I can be here and be working in Nigeria and I should be paid from Nigeria. Do you know that? Ṣé mo kó tó bá yẹ pé Nigeria ń ṣiṣẹ́? Majority àwọn tá jẹ́ diaspora inú Nigeria láti ibi bẹ́ẹ̀ la máa gbé, but inú Nigeria ni ti máa sanwó fún wa. You don't know that. Mo fún yín ní example kan rí. Sky mi lélẹ̀ irin tẹ́ ń rí kó tó di pé wọ́n gbé wá sókè a máa ń lose reception. Àwa pè wọ́n because service ni tí mo sanwó fún. Ẹni tí mo wá pè yẹn àwa ti ń sọ̀rọ̀ lọ. Èmi wá tẹ̀ rò pé bóyá Indian, because ibẹ̀ lọ máa ń gbé customer service lọ àbí South Africa. O2 nísìn South Africa ni base wọn wà fún customer service. Nigeria ò ṣe ń ṣe country báwo ló ti máa gbé tó bá gbé wá sí Nigeria gbogbo kí àwọn èèyàn lẹ máa ná tán. Kò ń ṣe gbogbo ẹni tẹ́ wà lórí platform ẹ̀yin àwọn tó ń ṣe ẹni tó ń ṣe fraudster ò ní wo KOIKIMEDIA ó lè ní wọ́n. Tó bá jẹ́ pé wọ́n ń gbé customer service pé I make a payment lórí phone tó jẹ́ pé Nigeria lọ gbé wá ẹ kàn imagine. Nígbà tí mo pe bèbí yẹn táwa ń sọ̀rọ̀ lọ ó wá ní Bulgaria lòun wà ní Sofia. Mo ní Bulgaria kẹ̀ ó ní yẹn ó ní kódà inú ilé lòun tí ń bá mi sọ̀rọ̀ ṣó mọ̀ pé ó ń pa 400 and something pounds equivalent owó ìlú wọn ní Bulgaria. Ó ní kò ń ṣóhun òun gba iṣẹ́ yẹn direct lọ́wọ́ Sky ti ní company tó sọ́ọ̀sì iṣẹ́ yẹn fún ní Bulgaria. Hey Nigerians tẹ́ bá ń gbọ́ program mi torí yín ò bá burst mo mọ tó tún lè burst torí yín. Ṣó mọ̀ pé wọ́n tó wà Nàìjíríà tó bá yẹ pé Nàìjíríà ní system tó ń ṣiṣẹ́ tọ́dẹ̀ lè checkmate exam lásán lẹ ṣe ní Ìbàdàn wọ́n ti ní gbogbo àwọn 520 tó ṣe exam yẹn àwọn nọ́ọ̀sì ìlú yìí wọ́n ní olè ní ẹ má yẹ kí n lò bẹ́ẹ̀ wọ́n ní ẹ ti commit crime against humanity wọ́n ní center yẹn olè center ni. So gbogbo àwọn tó lo visa wọlé through center yẹn nísìn wọ́n máa retake exam yẹn. Ẹ wá imagine ẹni tí kò tẹ̀ sí exam yẹn rárá tó yẹ pé wọ́n bá ṣe ni ó ń padà lọ Nàìjíríà àbí kó wá bó ṣe máa sọ́ta rẹ̀ out tó bá jẹ́ pé tó ti wọlé o. Ìlú ìdẹ́ ní time láti ṣe investigation. Exam center lásán ó ti wà corrupt ká wá gbé gbogbo call center wá sí Nàìjíríà ṣe mọ̀ pé yẹn ẹ máa di hush puppy tó máa pọ̀ níta ó máa fẹ́ tó 3 million. Tìbígbà tó hush puppy tó ń tẹ̀ sí wa lójú ẹ ti rántí kò tẹ̀ ó tẹ̀ tún olè ló ń jà ó tún tẹ̀ sí wa lójú àwọn kan tún máa wá hélẹ̀ hush puppy ìgbà tẹ́mi ò rẹ̀ ń ṣe hush puppy èmi ò kí ń ṣe hush puppy ṣèbí hush puppy á máa jẹ McDonald's kò tẹ́ ń jẹ McDonald's jẹ fruit jẹ gbogbo àṣọ olè ló ń jà ó lè ní nígbà tó bá nínú brain yẹn kí ló dé tí kò fi ṣe fún Nàìjíríà kò Nàìjíríà fúnra rẹ̀ ó ní kò help òun because mo gbọ́ background ẹ̀ díẹ̀ ó ní Nàìjíríà ti jẹ́ kóun suffer ó dẹ̀ jayé tó dáa but nísìn ó dẹ̀ rẹ̀ pé prison tó wà gan better ju wọ́gan lọ I'm not joking prison tí ó wà l'Amẹ́ríkà ó better ju ẹ̀yin Nigerians tẹ́ wà nílé lọ because ó máa jẹ oúnjẹ mẹ́ta ìkékeré máa dùn nísìn irú aṣọ tó máa fún ìkékeré máa dùn tó máa wọ̀ nísìn aṣọ òtútù ni torí kò gbọdọ̀ kú sí bíbà kò dẹ̀ wá sílé until Tinubu máa fi ṣe gọ́ọ̀mẹ̀ntì ẹ̀tàn because almost 7 years ló dà ń pọ̀ fún ìkékeré máa dùn tó bá jáde gan sẹ̀ ó máa ní tag lẹ́sẹ̀ so what we are saying is that this country has the human resources how can we have 60% of youth ẹ̀ ń ṣetán ní university ẹ̀ kàn ń bára yín sùn back and forth inú ẹ̀ náà lè máa bímọ ẹ wá fẹ́ gbé responsibility ọmọ yẹn ẹ fẹ́ gbé lé sísá yín labroad ẹ rò pé sísá yóò ná ọmọ tó máa tọ́jú tó bá jẹ́ pé Nàìjíríà ṣiṣẹ́ ni movement tó bá ti ṣe kíbọ̀ rọ́ọ̀kì tó ti confam pé wọn ò rí mọ́ wàá lọ register wàá fún ẹ ní red book ìyẹn làwa ń lò ní bíbá bó dẹ̀ yẹ pé green book ló máa fún yín so gbogbo ilé tí Mr. Wale Edun sọ yìí campaign after election ni campaign after election ẹ̀yin lẹ́ ń ṣe kíbọ̀ rọ́ọ̀kì àwa gan níbi ìbáyìí gan sẹ̀ a ti pàdé mọ́ torí gọ́ọ̀mẹ̀ntì gan sọ pé ká tighten up ẹ̀yin wá ń ṣe kíbọ̀ rọ́ọ̀kì wà wá bímọ tán wà wá máa bọ̀bọ̀ kan bẹ́ẹ̀ ó rẹ̀ send message sí mi Mr. Koiki support akílódé kí ló jáde fún ẹni èmi náà ní family now Nàìjíríà láti máa sanwó fáwàtàwà níta as diaspora ọ̀ọ́kọ́ employ wa kájọ look kò ṣe àwọn tó wà ní medical line ṣé o mọ̀ pé you can work as a medical doctor láti ta kó máa treat èèyàn ní Nàìjíríà àwọn kan ṣáà ń ṣe as voluntary job àwọn kan dẹ̀ ń ṣe as humanitarian work bọ̀bọ̀ kan wà lórí Twitter oríṣiríṣi ló máa ń dissect nípa health so ó máa give and take láyé tó bá jẹ́ pé ìlú yẹn ń ṣiṣẹ́ so gbogbo ilé tí Mr. Wale Edun san ẹ̀yin wo ṣé ọmọ GSS 3 tó gbọ́n yìnbó lẹ́fẹ́ sọ pé human resources kò gbọ́ pápá and this is why we are saying that let's wind down this country ẹni náà ẹ wá jẹ́ kó máa fi Nàìjíríà ṣe try your luck bíi ti máa ń play nígbà tí mo wà ní phase 2 ó ṣàtúmọ̀ game yẹn try your luck wàá lọ try your luck bí o máa jẹ bí ò ní jẹ this is not what we want they are using Nigeria as an experiment must be mo kí ẹ ń bẹ̀ mo kí ẹ ọmọ Kẹ́hìndé Nigeria has become a testing ground inú ẹ̀ náà ni Bill Gates máa ṣe tiẹ̀ inú ẹ̀ àwọn kan tẹ̀ like Bill Gates monopoly tó ń play lórí kò sí laptop kan tó bá rà láyé yàtọ̀ sí Apple wọ́n dẹ̀ ń pe another software another operating system kan èmi ti mọ̀ yẹn nígbà tí mo ń ṣiṣẹ́ computer wọ́n ń pè ní Ubuntu ó dájú Microsoft lọ but Microsoft ò jẹ́ kó gbérí ó tẹ̀rí ẹ̀ mọ́lẹ̀ ó tẹ orí ẹ̀ mọ́lẹ̀ kò jẹ́ kó gbérí rárá ta ló ti gbọ́ Ubuntu rí is an operating system kò sí computer tó bá rà láyé lẹ́ni nísìn o máa bá Microsoft níbẹ̀ why it is monopoly àwọn ọ̀dẹ̀ ló ń control media I don't even want to mention the name of the àwọn ethnic group kan tó ń control kì í má wà controversial lórí program mi àwọn tí wọ́n Ubuntu Kubuntu bàbá operating system ni èmi prefer ju Microsoft lọ eléyìí ni Wale Edun ṣàwọn sọ fún wa pé human resource wà Tinubu is a listening person okay tó bá wá ṣe tán then what happened we are not here to condemn Tinubu government but we are saying that the future of Yoruba people in Nigeria is not working ìyẹn lè fẹ́ accept ẹ fẹ́ kó máa fi Nigeria ṣe trial log kájọ máa ṣe kó máa lọ sẹ́yìn kó máa lọ síwájú àwọn ò ní time yẹn lótìtọ́ ẹ lè máa sọ pé yẹn but ọ̀nà owó la máa fi gba Yorùbá nation oríṣiríṣi ọ̀nà ni United Nations kọ́ ló máa fún wa ní country but the first thing is akọ́kọ́ gbọ́dọ̀ gbọ́ ara wa yé dáadáa mo ní 50% mo fẹ́ dárúkọ ìṣitẹ́ni ẹ ti ń ṣiṣẹ́ àgbàlagbà popular person ni ti bá dárúkọ ẹ gbogbo ilẹ̀ máa ní irú èèyàn báyìí ló sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ tẹ bá rí nǹkan tó send sí mi lórí status mi wọ́n ní 90% ló ń follow Tinubu mo ní I can't wait for this government to finish. Àwa ní time. Ṣẹ̀rí time yẹn lẹ́yìn òní. Ìyẹn lẹ ṣe ń pààyàn lẹ ṣe ń ṣe oríṣiríṣi because ẹ wà in a haste which is the right thing. Báwo nìyẹn ṣe máa sick tó máa lọ sí hospital tó ní 10,000 naira. Girl kan nísìn l'Abuja wọ́n ní kó wá ṣe usher. Gbogbo tó fẹ́ fún wọn ní bí i 10,000 naira per day ni. Kódà ó ń sunkún ni. Only one strip on naked near Abuja. Our boys, they are not smiling. The situation is going to get worse. Lóòótọ́ ele ní pé Tinubu ma stabilize ẹ̀ ká ṣe fún ní time. Problem tí yín nìyẹn. Kó fix Nigeria kó ṣiṣẹ́ fún yín. No problem. But fáwa long term àwọn ò lè accept pé ká remain in Nigeria. Ìyẹn la ṣe ń tẹ̀lé bàbá Akíntóyè. La ṣe dúró ti bàbá Akíntóyè. Nigeria is èwo lẹ tún gbélé mi lórí ibà. Oríṣiríṣi lẹ máa ń dára nínú TikTok yìí o. Ẹ ṣé gan ni, thank you so much. Fìlà bíi cowboy. Mo tẹ̀ láti lọ wá cowboy. Easy dollar mo máa need fìlà cowboy. Àwọn ní cowboy yẹn. Ọlọ́run bá wà pẹ̀lú gbogbo yín. Bishop Adesina ní Yorùbá nation will give the blue book. Agents ọ̀kọ̀ọ̀kan fún yín. Àwọn kan wà tó ń pè ní Dawn. They have a very good platform. They have a Talomo Dawn. It's a southwest something that puts together, they're working with the government in Yoruba land. But into a move, they move it because there's a lot of restriction in the current situation of Nigeria. DAWN. They are in Ogun State, is a southwest joint, they have a brilliant template. But Gogo are restricted to some extent. Sherita ba mo fẹ́ ẹ jẹ́ kí n lọ meaning sovereignty fún yín. Sherita ba gba sovereignty yẹn padà. Ẹni ẹ fẹ́ ṣe restructure, ẹ fẹ́ ṣe regional government. A sì máa wà lábẹ́ olórí burúkú àwọn tó wà ní north. Ẹ jẹ́ ká gba sovereignty wa ká dá dúró tán délẹ̀. Tá bá tẹ̀ máa bára wa jà, ká máa bára wa jà kó jẹ́ pé Yorùbá la máa bára wa sọ. Kò ń ṣe pé à ń bára wa jà nísìn, èmi sọ òyìnbó, ìyẹn kan ní why you speaking in English? Because tá bá ti ní sovereignty tiwa, it comes a government that will tell you that gbogbo tẹ́ bá máa ṣe tẹ́ bá máa fi operate is under Yoruba constitution. How many of you understand the 1999 constitution? How many of you have read it? Some of you don't even understand what is inside the constitution. It's one of the biggest fraudulent constitution. Constitution in the Tinubu law. Constitution in the Tinubu law. So you think that Tinubu can change anything with this fraudulent constitution? So when we talk about sovereignty, kini meaning it?
Sovereignty.
Tabani is a supreme power or authority. We need that sovereignty. Iye gongon la need. Tabati ni sovereignty tiwa, gbogbo àwọn provinces wa, kí ló ń pè ní provinces, gbogbo bí tẹ́ ń pè ní local government lẹ́ni. Ó máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí transform. A máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní strong database. A máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ṣe ìjọba tó ń pè ní government. Nigeria ò kì í ṣe government. They are not running a government in Nigeria. It's party government. And they know the game very well. And they've been running this game before 1999. Mo ti ṣe program rí nígbà tá a bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí sọ̀rọ̀ nípa state by state. Àtẹ̀tí parí program yẹn, àtúntò move sync on me. Mo lọ wo record àwọn tó pè ní military administrator. Àwọn olórí burúkú ara wọn náà lọ tún wá ṣe governor in the new dispensation of the 1999 election. Àwọn tó ti run ìjọba nígbẹ́ lábẹ́ military administrator, àwọn náà tún padà wá ṣe governor. Nígbà yẹn lọ ti jí owó rẹpẹtẹ. Nígbà tí wọ́n ń ṣe military administrator, ìgbà yẹn ni wọ́n bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí san tó ń pè ní security vote. Èmi kọ́ mo sọ́nà senior advocate of Nigeria Robert Clark ló sọ bẹ́ẹ̀. It was during the military regime ni wọ́n gbé ní tó ń pè ní security vote. Do you know how much is the security vote today? Maybe we might have an idea because the governor of Osun State, àwọn Adeleke, only 500 million. Because ó sọ̀rọ̀ kan tó ní 500 million, ó dẹ̀ máa pín fún gbogbo local government. Ó ní kí mi, dìde kẹ́ dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ mi, gbogbo wọn ti di empire. So ìwọ tó ní understand the constitution, ó wá argue lórí social media. Ó rí pórí ọ̀pẹ ní kó bẹ translate the constitution sí Yorùbá kó lè kà back to back kó fi ṣe lecture fún rẹ àti family ẹ nínú ilé kó máa bèrè pé kí ló dé tí ìyà ṣe ń jẹ mí, kí ló dé tí àwọn ọmọ mi ò lè lọ sí school, kí ló dé tí mo lè ní welfare, kí ló dé tí a ṣe ń gbé nínú Nàìjíríà tí a wà backward. Is the 1999 constitution. Constitution yẹn dẹ̀ ní Nàìjíríà fi ń operate tí Tinubu ń lò lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́. Ó wá ní jagaban èmi ló kàn. No problem. Ẹ jẹ́ àgbọ̀ wálé ẹdun lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí. Gbóhùn sókè.
And of course, a fairer a more level playing field, particularly for young people to express themselves, as we had the opportunity in our days. But
ẹ má yẹ kí n bú. Only young people express themselves as we. Nígbà tóun tọ́jú òun nígbà regional government, ṣé bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ ṣe ń tọ́jú ẹ̀yin nísìn? Many of you are struggling because the influx, Nigerianness bí àṣà Dr. Kebiorun òun ló affect wa back to back. Gbàgbọ́ yé 1999 constitution ó ń sọ̀rọ̀ nípa youth. Wọ́n pa youth ní October 2020. Mo rán journalist mi lọ kó lọ síbẹ̀ ní Lekki toll gate ní October 20. Kò sí ẹyẹ níbẹ̀ because ẹmọ tán ṣe rí àwọn governors yìí máa dọ́dọ̀ tí wọn ká tó máa lọ nísìn àwọn mo fẹ́ fi parí ètò yẹn. Wọ́n ti wọ́n gbogbo àwọn baálẹ̀ gbogbo àwọn ọba àwọn wọ́n lè má lè sọ fún ọba àwọn ọba ńláńlá wa wọ́n nílé báwọn yẹn sọ̀rọ̀ ẹni àbọ̀ ọmọ bọ́ ṣe máa present ẹ̀ fún wọn pé kábíyèsí ẹ má yẹ kó ṣe ẹni rally ní àdúgbò yín o. Èèyàn kan ló ṣẹ̀ jáṣẹ́ yẹn fún mi pé Mr. Koiki in táwọn ọba sọ fáwọn nìyẹn pé ẹ má jẹ́ kí èmi tí mo wà ń ta mo wọ kíní sísàlẹ̀ èmi àwọn máa fira mi èmi á jẹ́ kó tutù ṣe mí léṣe támáwẹ̀ lélẹ́yìí mo wọ támáwẹ̀ mo wọ singlet èmi kẹ̀ mo dẹ̀ wọ socks sísàlẹ̀ mo dẹ̀ wọ bàtà gidi orí tí mo dé eléyìí tí mo dé sórí gansẹ̀ mo dẹ̀ ti bo etí mi kò tutù púpọ̀ náà but at least now we stand mo ṣe lè ṣe lè gan sílẹ̀ kátẹ́gùn fẹ́ sí mi lórí díẹ̀ tó bá ti ń di pé drop díẹ̀ ní kíní ànílè máa dúró síta báyìí but for now ó ṣì wà okay. ṣe rí àwọn ọba yẹn kí ni Mr. Adeyanju sọ wọ́n ní boss man the local government chairman was just greedy person. He stay very close to the house of which I will never mention here. He stay far away from the village. Kí ló fẹ́ máa gbé ní village fún? Ṣé village yìí ń ṣiṣẹ́ ni? Village ò ṣiṣẹ́ now. I don't think some of you kò sí village ò ṣiṣẹ́. So when Mr. Wale Edun is talking about the youth of today, oh yes, because we have 60% of the youth in Nigeria today. But this 60% of the youth are not given opportunity because the way Nigeria is structured. And this structure is because we are not under our own supreme power. So, a sọ̀rọ̀ nípa sovereignty yẹn ní ìdajì. So, tá bá ní ká lọ wo, what is sovereignty in a simple word? Tó ń ṣe òyìnbó ńláńláńlá. Sovereignty can be described the power of one state, Yoruba nation. Kò tí tutù púpọ̀ náà àǹtí jíire kò tí bí a torí pé mo double up ni èmi kẹ̀ èmi ọmọ ọlọ́mọ máa jẹ́ kó tutù ṣe mí léṣe ó sì wà okay. Sovereignty can be described as the power of one state or a thing over another, or the freedom a state or a thing has control itself. Tabatunika lọ síwájú díẹ̀ sí. What is an example of sovereignty? Sovereignty is the right of a nation. My question is Nigeria a nation? Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń bá wa argue, ṣé Nigeria ṣé nation ni? What define Nigeria fẹ́mi? All these our scholars, our elite, Wale Edun knows that Nigeria is not a nation, but they are trying to experiment Nigeria. Mọ̀ pé project ló gbé lé lọ́wọ́, òun náà fi experiment. Project ni because let me kí ló ń pè ní kí ló ṣe máa ní kí wá defend the project yìí. Because when you have a gigantic project, wọ́n náà máa try gbogbo oríṣiríṣi. Wale Edun náà nísìn á lọ gbé àwọn tó jẹ́ pé wọ́n jọ lọ sí school tó mọ̀ pọ̀ good, àwọn tó wà ní America, tó wà ní Canada, àwọn tó wà ní Nigeria, á kó wọn together, á ní káwọn jọ ṣiṣẹ́. Èmi àná òkè wọn á bẹ ṣiṣẹ́. Make I tell you something. Mo mọ àwọn kan tó yẹ pé they are being paid for every work they do with the Nigerian government, and they are not living in Nigeria. Tó bá kọ paper kan fún government gbọ́dọ̀ sanwó fún wọn. Ó kọ́ yẹ pé government máa ń jẹ gbèsè ni. So àwọn ọba wa wọ́n ní ó ti sọ fún àwọn ọba kíkọ̀ mẹ́nu kúrò níbẹ̀ pé do not allow any kind of form of rallies kó ṣẹlẹ̀ nílẹ̀ Yorùbá aládùúgbò yín. Tó bá ti ṣẹlẹ̀ pẹ́rẹ́, a máa hold yín responsible. Èyí tí èèyàn kan sọ fún mi láàárọ̀ yìí nìyẹn. So these problems of being part of Nigeria, if not going to resolve because Nigeria is not a nation. So à ń sọ̀rọ̀ nípa sovereignty. Sovereignty is the right of a nation, a group of Yoruba people, to be self-governed. Right now we have governors, but these are not working on behalf of a Yoruba country. They are working on behalf of Nigeria as a country. Kawamenu sọ́dọ̀ àwọn governors wa. I'm asking why is this governor Aketi, bí èmi ni mo understand ẹ̀yin ọmọ Ondo state, mo rí aunty mi ní bíbá my big aunty Comfort Ológunjà àbẹ́yìn tẹ́ bá jẹ́ ọmọ Oǹdó mo ti understand kí ló dé tí Akérédolú operate láti Ìbàdàn ṣé wọ́n ti ṣògùn sí governor's house tó sọ fún pé Ìbàdàn ni kò ti máa operate nísìn I don't get it I mean I am lost ẹ̀yin ọmọ Ondo state ni mo bá sọ̀rọ̀ nísìn ẹ là mí lóye kí má bàa sọ̀rọ̀ sọ kí ló dé tí Àkẹ́tì ìyẹn governor Akérédolú tó operate láti Ìbàdàn tó padà sí state ẹ̀ ṣé wọ́n ti ṣe ògùn sí state yẹn because kò sí nǹkan tó kì í ṣe Nàìjíríà ṣé wọ́n ṣọ́ ti kọ́ àwọn talisman àwọn àtọ́fẹ́ clear bẹ̀ kó tó di kó máa padà ní because why is he operating from Ìbàdàn if he's not feeling very well èmi ò gbàdúrà ikú fún I pray he has a good health but for now maybe he should resign because what is the essence of a governor that cannot operate and this is how you want development to happen in that state. I pity a lot of you but we will never stop carrying you along to the reason why the Yoruba people must exit. We will leave Wale Edun. I do not own that video. You can watch it on the YouTube of the channel's television. But the last thing I'm going to talk about before we finally close the broadcast this evening. Remember, my name is Olawumi Koiki. This is KOIKIMEDIA, bringing the world closer to your doorstep. A journalist to the core, a father, and also an uncle. A man that believes that the Yoruba people can do very well without being part of what is called Nigeria today. In Yokoni, I am from Ondo State. You and in UK, you are also talking from there. Come home if you want to make sense. Omali, bomb bastard. Oh, no, I'm from Ondo State. Omali, no fear. Abi, Oshafe Soro, bomb bastard. Come back home. Timba wale ko wale mi wale. Olórí burúkú somebody, bomb bastard. Kò ní dá fáwọn tó bí ẹ. In tó lè sọ fún Ṣẹ̀wọ̀n kí Balóyè ló máa sọ sí mi níbí báyìí Ṣẹ̀wọ̀n kí láyé òkùnkùn ní dá yín lóhùn gbogbo kọ́mẹ́ǹtì tẹ́ ń kọ́mẹ́ǹtì kò ní dá yín lóhùn olórí burúkú ọmọ àlè àwọn ọmọ Fúlàní tá máa fòkù pa gbogbo yín tó bá yá ó kù díẹ̀ ni àwọn tèmi bá sọ̀rọ̀ I am talking to the real Yoruba people kò ń ṣe àwọn ọmọ àlè Yorùbá bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ìyá mi Mrs. Posh ọmọ àlè ni à ń sọ pé gọ́vnà yín ó ń operate láti Ondo State láti Ìbàdàn ṣé yẹn right ó ní come back home. Okay, Yami David, yes, the place has been laced with juju according to the report by the deputy governor. Okay, so answer. So kò wá sílé mi tó lè gbé ní Ondo State. Kí Ọmọlúkà fún nílé kó máa gbé lọ́dọ̀ Ọmọlúkà now. How can a governor be living in Ondo State, Ibadan? How is he going to manage the project in Ondo State? I am talking to the real Yoruba people. Don't wait for your life to be taken before you join the Yoruba Nation movement. The Yoruba Nation movement is a movement, as you can hear it, is a movement. Nigeria is still operating. But I know, and I'm very, very sure that Nigeria will wind down at the appropriate time. Tinubu lived in this country for 4 years. I teach a Yoruba Nation for 4 years. Milton Kings, he was away from Nigeria and he was doing the same thing I'm doing, but the only difference is considered technology by. So in time Tinubu man ṣe one-to-one meeting làwọn máa ń ṣe wá lọ meet wá sọ̀rọ̀ kí la ṣe máa ṣe kí la ṣe ní ṣe àbọ̀rọ̀ òye yín nísìn eventually he went back to Nigeria Tinubu gangan kọ́ ló fẹ́ lò from what I was told Funsho William was the best option on the table but the rest is history Tinubu got to become the governor of Lagos State ẹni tó bá dẹ̀ wà ní position yẹn ní Lagos ìyẹn Ọbásanjọ́ ṣe bàjà títí so he was able to pull resources together brought in some certain people they transformed Lagos to some extent and he was able to become the Jagaban of Lagos State but kò sẹ́ni tó lá ambition there's nothing wrong in that he had another ambition but gbogbo tó sọ fún wọn nígbà yẹn nígbà tó jẹ governor òun kọ́ ló ṣe o. This phone is also saying 15%, so we're going to wind down the program as quickly as possible because this is the backup channel of KOIKIMEDIA. So what we are saying right now is that Tinubu gave the assurance to the Afenifere of certain things. He failed, he did not deliver. Bí àtòrí ẹ̀ làwọn bàbá yẹn ṣe supported, tó lọ support Peter Obi. Mo kí bàbá wa Kúnlé Ṣítà, ọmọ Lùbákà mo kí bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ọmọ àlè ti pọ̀ jù. Àwọn tí Fúlàní ti bá yà wọn sùn Moki Wan KOIKIMEDIA backup team. What we are saying before we go as our take-home note, Mr. Wale Edun, Eripe ni mo focus lé lórí. Àwọn tó mọ̀ yín wá deliver message mi fún yín. I wish you would do the best, but 4 years, I hope that there will be a comeback of Tinubu to complete the 4 years. But maximum 8 years, you would have done your best to stabilize the Naira. Because Naira yẹn ó ti dead, ó ń lọ bí ẹyẹ lékeleke. Naira today to pounds is 1,490. Naira to dollar is 1,230. Àwọn kan ní lọ sókè ó jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ, doesn't matter. Àìtí wọ December. We are still 2 months away to December. Èyí ni 24th of October 2020. By the time tá máa fi dé December, Mr. Wale, tẹ́ bá tẹ̀lé bá wa reduce ẹ̀ pé kí náírà yẹn kó má lọ sókè ju bí ó ṣe ń lọ. We will know that you are working. How are you going to do that? You have told us that 10 billion naira is coming into the economy. Mo kí bàbá wa Stephen Emmanuel, mo dẹ̀ kí gbogbo àwọn GR1. Triple DRS, mo rí ẹ̀yin ẹ̀gbọ́n mi dáadáa, mo rí pé wo program tí mo ṣe lánàá, mo ti rí comment yín. What we are saying to Mr. Wale Edun, you are a brain to part of Tinubu's government, but that brain will be stopped after 8 years. One, you need the service yín mọ́. Kódà, Tinubu ò lè invite Ọ̀ṣínbàjò into his government. Ọmọ Yorùbá sí Yorùbá nìyẹn o. Ẹ mọ̀ why? Because ọ̀dàlẹ̀ ni Ọ̀ṣínbàjò. Ọ̀dàlẹ̀ balẹ̀ kú òun ló Ọ̀ṣínbàjò. Ọ̀ṣínbàjò tún fẹ́ compete. Bí àwọn tó wá ṣe deal yẹn, I don't know. Because kí ló lè mú Ọ̀ṣínbàjò ṣe sọ pé òun náà fẹ́ jẹ president? Nítorí pé àwọn north wọ́n ti fa pọ́nrán ẹ̀, ẹ má bínú fún ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn, wọ́n ti fa bọ́ọ̀sẹ̀, wọ́n ti sọ́kẹ̀. So Ọ̀ṣínbàjò ń ṣe bí ọ̀dẹ̀ nígbà tó wà àti Buhari jọ ń ṣèjọba because wọ́n ti máa fún ní impression pé ìwọ la máa lò. Bó ó ti gbàgbé pé wèrè olórí burúkú málà kan náà wà tó fẹ́ lò tó ń pè ní Ahmed Lawan, ìyẹn former senate president. Wọ́n wá ti gbogbo wọn lọ síbẹ̀. Ọ̀ṣínbàjò náà wá jókòó báyìí. Tinubu wá ní Ọ̀ṣínbàjò èmi lè mímú ẹ wá náà kó wá jẹ vice president. Irú ẹ̀kọ́ ló yẹ kó tún lẹ́ni nísìn Ọ̀ṣínbàjò ó kàn fò káàkiri báyìí. Kí ló lọ ń ṣe? Ó lọ ń ṣe presentation. Every presentation tó bá lọ ṣe dọ́là ló máa fi sanwó fún. Ó máa jayé táyé máa fi tán ni. But ìwọ tó jọ mọ agbègbè ibi tí Ọ̀ṣínbàjò ti jáde ní Rẹ́mọ, ṣé Rẹ́mọ ni? Ìjọ kan mo sọ̀rọ̀ Ọ̀ṣínbàjò yẹn, àwọn sísà kan bínú. Wọ́n bínú níbí báyìí, wọ́n ní kí n má jẹ́ kíní kan. Mo ní mo ti gbọ́. Ọ̀ṣínbàjò nísìn kí ló ṣe fún yín ní local government yín? Ṣé rí government tẹ́ máa ń sọ pé yẹn tíyàn kan bá ti débẹ̀ kó wá ṣe àdúgbò wa kádùúgbò wa fine, ìyẹn kọ́ là ń fẹ́ o. We want everybody to be accountable for everything. Ní Ìkẹ́nnẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ẹ ṣe gan ni. Ẹ lọ sí Ìkẹ́nnẹ́ nísìn. Kódà ibi tí wọ́n gbé bàbá owó lọ́wọ́ sí gan, èèyàn á fẹ́ máa sunkún koríṣiríṣi. Màá ní káwọn ọmọ mi lọ síbẹ̀ níjọ́ kan. So we are not talking about a government that is there. Ẹ kí Tinubu kó favour wa, Rugi Giant ẹ ṣé gan ni for the rose, and thank you so much for everyone that continue to support us one way or the other. Ọ̀ṣínbàjò did 8 years. I had the privilege láti meet ẹ lẹ́ẹ̀mejì tó wà close nígbà tó ń ṣe campaign ṣe 2019 bàbá Gbówórìn. Kódà èmi àtàwọn SSL lájọ dúró tó Ọ̀ṣínbàjò fi dé nígbà tó ń gbówó káàkiri yẹn, ẹ̀ha Gbówórìn wọ́n ti gbówó yẹn sínú ọjà, wọ́n ti ṣaṣọ fáwọn èèyàn, wọ́n ti wọṣọ. Ṣẹ́rí gbogbo yẹn ìyẹn ń ṣe gọ́ọ̀mẹ̀ntì o. Gọ́ọ̀mẹ̀ntì kàríkà chop lè ń ṣe lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ Nàìjíríà. Gọ́ọ̀mẹ̀ntì tí ẹ̀yin gan lè wà accountable fún, àwọn gan wà accountable fún yín. So tẹ́ bá ń gbọ́ táwọn kan bá ní Tinubu ṣe dáadáa fún wa, oh yes, èmi náà lè sọ pé ẹ̀yin náà ń ṣe dáadáa fún mi because nínú Yorùbá nation àfi tí bá fi parọ́, ẹ̀yin lẹ́ ń ṣe dáadáa fún wa, ẹ má dáwọ́ dúró lákan sọ ni, ìyẹn ò lè wọ́kọ̀. Kẹ́yìn kan wá máa sọ fún mi nísìn pé àbí kí mi máa sọ nísìn pé Yorùbá nation yìí Ọlọ́run jẹ́ kó tán, ẹ jẹ́ ká máa bá lọ báyìí. Ṣe mọ̀ pé mo ti ń wà selfish nìyẹn. Ó wù mí pé ká gbà lénìí so that àwọn tó ń tẹ̀ fún wa lówó gan ká lè channel energy yẹn sí nǹkan míì, because at the end of the day this is what Yoruba people are looking for. Ẹni tó máa wọlé tó máa fún yín ní peanut díẹ̀díẹ̀, rather than thinking about a whole situation of asking for a sovereign nation where everybody will be accountable, where there will be database. Tí Tinubu máa fi ṣe tán, ẹ lè rí any database láti sọ pé ìwọ tó ń wò mí tó láǹfààní àti gbọ́ program yìí, o máa ní opportunity pé kí gọ́ọ̀mẹ̀ntì mọ̀ pé o wà nínú Nàìjíríà. And that is where we're going to leave it today. Thank you so much for everyone that have joined us. My name is Olami Koiki. We will play the anthem and we close the broadcast. Remember to follow us. Mo like àwọn tó ṣe ń bá wa ṣe audio, video wa tá ń ṣe. Appreciation to you. Ó tún di ọ̀la lágbára Ọlọ́run. Tí bá dẹ̀ ní strength. Kò sígbà tí mo lè jáde. But for now, I gotta say, we appreciate every one of you. Mo kí olórí ẹbí wa Wàlátà. Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin ìyá wa. Mo kẹ́yìn grandma. Anything bá dárúkọ, like I always say, àfiṣèbínú. Bọ̀kákọ̀ dárúkọ yín, Crowley Banks, Papa DJ Baddest. Ṣé máa ń kọrin ní sà? Mo kí ẹ̀gbọ́n mi Tóyè. Mr. Shakuri, mo kí yín. Ẹ má bínú tí n bá porúkọ yín dáadáa. Bọ̀sùn Judio, all hail Biafra, Mr. Francis Afolabi, Mr. Bamidele Olúlẹ́yẹ. Kódà mo kí Guru Maharaji Gonsef. Ó ti ránṣẹ́ sí mi títí. You know, he likes me so much. Ó yẹ ká ṣe interview, but mo ṣì busy díẹ̀. Mo kí ìyàwó Oyindamola. Mo kí Mr. Kim Adiora Saki. Mo kí ta ló tún wà níbẹ̀. Ọlọ́run dáre. Mo kí ẹ̀gbọ́n mi Fádàre. Mo dẹ̀ kí gbogbo àwọn tíìmù yín náà. Thank you so much. Mo kí Princess Awoniyi. Mo kí ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà lórí TikTok. Mo kí gbogbo yín. Tẹ́ bá yẹ pé gbọ́n kankan tí kò tẹ́ yín lọ́rùn. Yá bọ̀bọ̀ ìṣe wá lórí àwọn èdè báyìí. I cannot be like the other medias. Tẹ́ bá bú mi, tí bá rí, màá bú ẹ padà. Màá bú yẹ, màá bú bàbá ẹ. But ẹ̀yin tá à ń bá sọ̀rọ̀, kò ń ṣẹ́yìn là ń bú. Àwọn tí mò ń ṣépè fún tá à ń bú gangan, born bastard làwọn olóṣèlú yẹn. And we must continue to say that. And into that deserve nìyẹn. Until they start talking about the self-determination. Èpè ló máa gbà. Mo kí bàbá wa ìyá mi Ọláníkẹ́ ẹ ṣé gan grandma. Mo wá kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin olólùfẹ́ wa. Bọ́lọ́run ṣe ń jẹ́ pé nífẹ̀ẹ́ tèmi, Ọlọ́run á nífẹ̀ẹ́ tẹ̀yin náà. Ẹ jẹ́ ká fọkàn balẹ̀. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wá ń wà concern. Torí pé mo gbọ́dọ̀ lọ ká má mẹ́nu baró ẹ̀. Kóìkì ọ̀rọ̀ Ìgbòho yẹn wá ń kọ́ ìṣòro àìtí. Ọ̀rọ̀ chief tó wá sọ yẹn, èyí tí chief sọ, èhun lèmi gbé jáde. Èmi kọ́ ni mo máa sọ tí chief máa ṣe. Bọ̀ mo mọ̀ pé gbogbo yín pè mí pé Kóìkì ìwọ lágbẹnusọ chief náà ó yẹ kí ìwọ náà lè ìta sọ ni pé bóyá ìpàdé táwọn gọ́fìnà lọ ṣe ní Ọ̀yọ́ lẹ́nìí bóyá ó máa facilitate kí ìwéré ilé bóyá security máa wà níbẹ̀. We hope that they can provide security. Ibà Gani Adams mo kí n dáadáa bàbá mi lóògùn ọ̀fẹ́ o ẹ̀yin náà ẹ bá wa ṣe kí ni ẹ bá wa gbóhùn sókè. Àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá ní àwọn ògbóhùn yín púpọ̀ mọ́ wọn náà wọn kọ́ máa ń rí yín ní káàkiri àwọn ibìkan èmi mọ̀ bí tó ti ń rí yín ẹ bá wa gbóhùn sókè lágbára Elédùmarè Ọlọ́run wà pẹ̀lú wa. Mo kí àwọn OPC mo kí Àgbẹ̀kọ̀yà mo kí gbogbo ilé pátápátá mo wá kí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá. You don't have to agree with Yoruba nation, but I'm sure you know that Nigeria is not working. As long as you know that, Silver Badmus mo kí brother wa tó wà ní Afghanistan, Yeye Dara mo kí wọn, mo kí Ọmọlúkà, mo kí Bàbá Èkìtì, mo kí gbogbo àwọn medias wa, mo kí gbogbo ilé nǹkan ṣe. And on that note, I say very good afternoon. Mo kí ìyá mi Fúnkẹ́ Yàlájé, mo kọ sport yín nísìnyí, mo rẹ̀ kí àwọn tó wà lórí mixlr pẹ̀lú wa, mo kí ẹ̀gbọ́n mi Michaela, mo kí Prophet Ológunlúwa, kò ní sí wa kò ní rẹwà, Yorùbá nation la gbé dání, àwọn ọmọ kankan nípa nǹkan mi ò. Bye for now. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the evening. Remain security conscious in Nigeria. Don't trust everything at this stage. Nigerians must be very, very careful. There's a lot of crime going on. I wish you all the best. Ẹ ṣé gan ni mọ́mí wa, Mrs. Posh. Bye for now. Aláròyé Ìbàdàn, mo kí yín sá o. Ó dàbọ̀. Thank you so much, Pastor Mo. Bàbá mi Akínwùmí, ẹ ṣé gan ni sir. Hey, tèmi lórí TikTok. Can you nice evening? All the way. God bless. Shout out to those of you. Grandma Lea Ajayi, ẹ ṣé gan ni ma. Ìyá mi Ọlánìkẹ́, ẹ ṣé gan.